People with street smarts, what is your most street tip? I live in a third world country and most of the time this is what we are taught. When going to a shady neighborhood, dress down as much as possible. Don't bring a bag, or if you do, make sure the bag is something you can easily put in front of you. Do not put your money in just one item like your wallet. Hide bills, fold or flatten them, in your phone case, your socks. Hidden pants pocket etc. This will serve as your emergency money in case you lose your wallet. Wear dark sunglasses when taking a public transpo, so you'll be harder to read. If you are a tourist, ask the locals around for the exact price, for fare, for food, for item. Some street sellers tend to scam tourists and make them pay a ridiculous amount. I saw this happen, but the tourist didn't buy the item cause his friend, a local, stopped him. Edit. Some taxi drivers will deliberately take a longer route so they can get more from you. Download apps that would serve as your GPS. Some taxi drivers have drugs they use to get you to inhale and knock you out. They do this by shaking some powder near the air conditioning of the car, so you directly inhale it. It's a subtle scent, but it makes your throat dry. If you smell it / suddenly feel drowsy, ask to be dropped off immediately or open the window. They would usually pretend to open candy or SMTH, and the powder is usually in the candy wrapper. Edit. It's not a powder. It's a spray scam. They just shake or rub the candy wrapper to mask the sound. When they spray it, bring your own water bottle when going to a club. To be safer, order shots. Shot glasses won't give them enough time to spike your drink or beer so you can carry the bottle. Constantly drink water so you can flush out the alcohol in your system, giving you a good buzz but not shit-faced. Oh my god, I didn't know about the whole water and not flushing out of your system, lol, forgive me for that. I've been corrector in the comments. Guess it just keeps you from getting dehydrated and gives you clean and safe drinking water. Edit. I think by now you guys know what country I'm talking about. These are just a few of the usual things you need to be careful with. I'm not at all trying to malign my country. Trust me, there are a lot of good things here too. Come visit. Solo newsman who worked in the dark in big cities past midnight. I've been shot at by gangs before. Been followed and chased. I lived the life of nightcrawler for 2 years, but I wasn't a gypsy camera. I worked for a reputable news station. Even in daylight, watch for places where the street lights have been broken. Bad people who like to hide in the dark shoot out street lights. If it's night and you see a television running in an open window, that's a kid. That might be a lookout. You'll have the feeling you've been made. When you drive to a place in the dark that you've never been to, drive in with the windows down and the radio off. Turn off the car. Count to 30 and listen. On a good night, without air conditioners buzzing, you can hear everything. Then, get out of the car, drive in front of a place once before landing there. Get eyes on it. If you're on foot, know the outs. Watch behind houses for fences. Assume anyone that chases you knows the area better than you. If you feel like you're being watched, you are. Stop moving, stop breathing, and listen again. Nobody wants to attack an aware victim. If you hold your breath on foot, in about 45 seconds, you can hear everything. Your ears adjust. Cannot do it while walking, and blood is pumping in your ears. You can hear people breathing well over 10 feet away. If you wait long enough. Assume all gut feelings are real and actionable. Trust yourself. I cannot stress enough listening. Most humans have no idea that we have, as a species, the ability to hear things further away than we think we do. We have busy minds, and listening takes about a minute. Your brain can totally make a determination that there is a deer 100 yards away in the dark, because in about 30 seconds of dead silence the brain starts shutting down new cells background noises. The only lesson of this is, it takes a little longer than you think. Second tier pro tip, it also works on your nose in the woods, but it takes a few days out of an urban environment. Edit. People are liking this, so adding more. Got a few minutes. 7. Cars. All headlights on vehicles are fingerprints. Every time you look in a rearview mirror, imprint the headlights in your short-term memory. Try to think of what kind of car it is. Learn what headlights and taillights go with what type of car. Make it a game. Keep it as a background thought. It will trigger you when the third turn happens, and the headlights are the same mate. Cars again. If you see the car too long, and it's bothering you? Something. Spin that block. Drive illogically. If you spin that block, it will have to follow you in an illogical path. It takes a minute to do this, and determine a tail. Don't ever stop. Just drive a longer and more illogical route to determine if you're being followed. If you're being followed, don't go home. Drive to a hospital or entrance. There's always security there. They're used to crazy and immediate medical attention if something is bad. And cameras. Lots of them. And all cops can get there without looking it up. 9. Don't like guns? Get a bigger knife. They never jam. They never need maintenance. Nearly impossible to disarm. A cut is an instant win. The crazier you get, the better they work. They scare the shit out of people. A person shorter than 10 feet away can get a kill faster than a pistol. They teach cops to shoot knife attackers at 10 feet. Still probably screwed. Got a Captain America shield? Wearing knight's armor? Can't stop it. Turns a 70-pound girl into a 70-pound Wolverine. A 90-year-old lady with a knife has about equal chance against a Krav Maga fighter unarmed. Knives are, in my experience, much deadlier than guns. I've seen hundreds of gunshot wounds and deaths. I've seen brutal knife attacks. All heavy stabs are 100% fatal. I've never seen a multiple stab person make it out of an ambulance. 20 years experience. 9. And finally, final reiteration that your smooth little reptilian hindbrain has evolved running from creatures on this planet with bigger fangs and camouflage, and venom, and claws. Lots of claws. You, as a person, are a little animal, and what your personality and identity is an evolutionary add-on. That is pretty damn amazing. The cauliflower part of your brain is in charge, but you have old brain down there underneath it. When the little smooth part of your brain says run. Do it. Now, you're here because the hindbrain did its damn job for millions of years. It's not capable of expressing itself in letters or numbers. It's stupid. It's the heebie-jeebies part of your brain. It's very old. It misfires a lot. It will also give you fair warning points. Stay safe, people. If someone starts acting concerned about your belongings, get out of there soon as possible. For example, if you're walking in public and someone says, hey, go around this way, so you don't scuff up them nice shoes, 9/10 they're sizing you up to see if they can con you, or outright take it from you under the guise of being concerned for your stuff. Point. If someone starts looking away during a heated conversation and turning their torso away, always glance at their feet and hips instead. People who are about to punch you always angle their lead foot towards you, while angling their hips on a bladed slant instead of square. The upper body lies, but the lower body never does. Say as little as possible. The more you say, the more they're trying to figure out if you're soft and easy to manipulate. By keeping your words to a minimum, you can at least seem like the strong silent type. With that said, they'll likely still escalate to physically sizing you up if they can't figure you out through words, shoulder bumps, putting an arm around your shoulder, casually taking something small off your person, and asking if they can hold it, etc. At that point, be firm and direct. Don't go along with it. Point. Never stand your ground and fight. Strike first then run. If it's 1v1, then there's a good chance if you get the upper hand your opponent will pull a weapon. If it's more than one person, then no amount of training will prepare you to fight multiple pair of hands and legs at once. Anyone who has ever fought will tell you that even 30 seconds of a 1v1 is exhausting. Now imagine 1v5, you won't survive. Point. If you're parking in an unfamiliar neighborhood, always back in. If someone tries to pull up on you, then you can easily peel off. It's harder to get away when you have to back out before throwing it and drive. I cannot emphasize this sheet enough. Points. Do not underestimate teenagers. Where I'm from, by 14 a lot of kids have already held a gun, and by 17 they've either committed a murder or have witnessed one in the streets. Don't let their baby faces fool you. They're young, reckless, and eager to prove themselves in the streets. There's a bunch. Don't pull out your phone or check your watch if someone asks you the time. Especially in well-known skeptical areas, they do this to catch you off guard and rob you. If someone starts knocking on your window at a gas station, literally ignore them, or just drive off if you can. For similar reasons, don't wear both headphones in while you're walking at night. Especially in skeptical areas, you always Want to be consciously and subconsciously aware of your surroundings. If someone asks you what size shoe you're wearing, it's probably best to just run. If you're selling something on something like Facebook Marketplace, you have to be very careful. You're going to be meeting someone you've probably never met in your life. Meet in a public place, like a bank, a police station, anywhere public, etc. If they are paying in cash and it's expensive, count the money first. And make sure it's real before giving your product to them. Anyone who isn't trying to rob you will be fine with this, especially if you're in a public place like a bank lobby area. Card skimmers are everywhere. Always make sure, by pulling the card reader block, to see if it's real or not. If a stranger ever tries to distract you from what you're doing while in public, please be aware of everything going on around you. People don't approach others they don't know and try to force conversation / take your attention. They are trying to distract you for a reason. This is a general tip, but there's no reason to ever carry more cash on you than what you're spending for that day. If someone pulls a knife or gun on you, please comply with them. You want to risk your life with someone who is at the point where their needs outweigh the consequences. That is how you die. Point. There's a lot more, but those are some important ones everyone should know for the most part. Point. Stay safe everyone. I was an escort for many years and here is some advice for women. Point. Never let a strange man help you with something. If he offers to help you bring groceries in or luggage, say no thank you. Don't be rude but be assertive. Make sure to thank him and rush along. Point. Always lock your car doors immediately. When you get into a car, only unlock the driver's side, then immediately lock it. If you're going to take your shopping cart to the corral, even if it's just a few feet away, lock your car. 3. Lock your door as soon as you get in your house. Make it a habit to check your windows often to see if they are locked. Invest in a door jamb if you live alone. It's a bar that goes under the door handle and keeps the door from being opened. 4. Have cameras in every room and a big as dog. Get a gun. Learn to use that gun. Feel confident with that gun. 5. When you're alone somewhere, like at a bar, or waiting for friends, and a man is eyeing you, hunch your shoulders and widen your elbows on the table. This posture gives off a very sturdy don't fuck with me vibe. Make sure to notice him notice you with stern eyes. Don't give him a dirty look, but show him you're aware he's making you uncomfortable. If a man ever makes you uncomfortable, do not become smaller in frame and fold your hands and body inwards. Take a stance that makes you bigger and masculine looking. 6. If someone is obsessed with you, grey rock them. You become so dull to them like a rock, they will eventually lose interest. Give them nothing. Be as boring as possible. 7. When walking anywhere alone, constantly look around you and walk with a purpose. If you look like you have a mission, people won't fuck with you. 8. Learn the power of no. I said earlier that if a guy offers his help, to politely decline. However, if a guy ever becomes pushy or he asks you something inappropriate, just say no. Nothing else. I can't tell you the amount of times I said no to a man and they recoiled back. They usually expect women to explain themselves and apologize or try to be overly polite to mitigate their uncomfortable feelings. So when you say no, it throws them off. 9. Never go somewhere without sharing your location with someone you trust. You always let someone know where you're going, who you're meeting or going with, and when you think you'll be back. 10. Try to remember to fill up your gas in the morning. There is nothing scarier than being alone at a gas station at night, standing outside waiting for your tank to fill up. 11. Keep roofie tester cards in your purse. That way if you have a gut feeling about your drink you can test it. Sure, most people will say just don't drink it then, but if you can show the bartender it's positive, they will shut that sheet down real quick and pull everyone's drinks as a precaution. I've seen it happen, and I was also a bartender for years. 12. If you're a smoker, do not go outside the bar alone to go smoke. A dear friend of my family was murdered this way. 13. This may not be feasible for everyone, but invest in a smartwatch. If someone tries to take your phone, you can call 911 with your watch or alert your emergency contact that you're in trouble. I've had men take my phone before, and it is scary when you don't have a way to get help. 14. Get a camera for your car. People think twice about cheat when they know they are being recorded. Get cameras for everywhere. They are much needed. Peace of mind. 15. When you get home and pull into your spot, Turn your lights off and keep your doors locked. Take a second to look around before you get out. Make sure no one is waiting for you. Do this every time. Before you get out, make sure you only have one thing in your hand, the key to your door. That way you're not burdened with carrying stuff. If you have stuff to bring in, you can wait until the morning, or have a friend come with you. Don't be dicking around alone at night in an apartment parking lot. Also, once you get out of your car, beeline it straight to your door. Don't fuck around. Get in and lock your door. I know this may sound excessive, but trust me, women living alone are targeted more than you think. 16. My last piece of advice. God forbid you're in a situation where you're about to be attacked. Act faking crazy. Bark at them. Freak out. Get loud. If you run, the likelihood of a man catching you is high. He's stronger than you and likely quicker. However, if you act like a crazy bitch, they might think twice about faking with you. And if they do get a hold of you, fight. Don't act timid or meek. Fuck him up. If he's gonna hurt you, he's gonna have to get hurt too. Men are by far and wide so much stronger than women, but we have quicker reaction times. Use that to your advantage. Claw his faking eyes out. Bite him. Scream. Throw your head back into his. Just anything. Be fearless. It's scary as fuck, but it's your life point, or use that gun you should be carrying. One of my favorite moments ever was a time when I was in an elevator with a large man and he seen that I was open carrying a 9mm on my belt. His whole body language changed. He shifted away from me and acted timid. The feeling of power and safety was such a high. A grown-ass man was actually scared of me. Now, I don't recommend open carry. Conceal is by far better, because you don't want to invite that kind of attention. But I'll never forget how it made me feel. I felt like how most men feel when they're around women. Like I had nothing to worry about. Good shit. Yay, get a gun. And learn how to use it. Remember, we have quicker reaction times than men. Annie Oakley, his ass. Here goes, trust your gut. If it's telling you to leave somewhere, leave. If it's telling you not to go in somewhere, don't go in there. If it's telling you something's wrong with someone, find an excuse to Irish goodbye them. Point, don't leave drinks unattended. Ever. Never. Guy or girl, doesn't matter. Don't leave drinks unattended. Take it with you to the urinal. Take it with you to the bathroom. As said before in here, don't have a potential felony crime while commuting a misdemeanor or traffic violation. Check your lights on your car and tag every time. Don't speed if you've got other potential consequences. Drive and behave assertively. Point, know where the heck you're going and look like you're not a fool. Hustlers, muggers, and all around bad news is waiting for someone who looks vulnerable. Screw up on the subway and miss your exit? No big deal. Look at the map on your phone vs the map posted on the wall, preferably while you're walking. If you stop and flub around, it invites someone to hassle you. Point, make sure you're getting in the right car. Also, don't get into taxi cabs when visiting border towns whatsoever. Also, why the hell are you in a border town? There's a room in every police station in Mexico, filled with people that didn't come back, and also files of people and tourists that were taken out to the desert, stripped of everything they have on them, and left to walk back, and they're the lucky ones. Ignore the street people. Period. Ignore the people doing drugs in plain sight. Mind your business as much as possible, and have something else to do. If it's an egregious crime, report it calmly and specifically when you're safely out of the line of fire. When visiting some places, dress blue collar even if you're not. Blend in. Carry different sorts of clothes when you travel. If you're headed to a side of town that isn't affluent, don't wear expensive watch, or shoes or belt. Old t-shirt, jeans, sneakers, and a non-designer baseball cap. The amount of being left alone just by doing that is huge. Rent a generic looking car. Always leave all items in the trunk. Don't leave tourist looking crap in the rental car where people can see it. If someone out and about is acting like they're trouble, they probably are. Point, don't hold anything for anyone you don't know. This is luggage, bags, merchandise, keys, anything. Not even for a second. Look confused and walk away. Point, sketchy girls or guys in sketchy places wanting you to suddenly leave your friends and go somewhere you don't know. Hey, it's your life. Good luck. Point, if a fight is unavoidable, block your head and kick people in the groin as hard as possible, then run. Get the hell out of there, get somewhere else public and safe, and call the cops to the location of the fight, and say you feared for your life and were hit. You don't need to stick around. You don't even need to show back up there. Cops will likely clear the place out. Don't leave your passport, or keys anywhere ever. When sleeping, hide them in your shoes near the head of the bed, on the floor with your socks stuffed in the top. If you're intoxicated and crashing somewhere, leave them in your pocket. You're gonna sleep either way. When traveling, keep wallet/money in front pants pocket. Keep cash in separate pockets so, if mugged, you can throw the cash and haul ass. Don't carry a big wallet, this isn't 1950. Carry cards and ID in separate pocket from cash. If bad stuff goes down, leave your credit card at the bar and call and cancel it a few minutes later. Don't incriminate yourself to the police. Don't unnecessarily involve yourself into witnessing a crime if others are already calling the cops. If no one is in physical danger and you were indirectly involved in something and are not sober or 100% sure you're squeaky clean in every way, think long and hard about how you look in a situation before you call the police. You'd be amazed how many people go to jail that had nothing to do with anything they were around. Never let someone on the street you don't personally know convince you to go anywhere. Man, I've got a ton more. Keep your damn eyes open, head on a swivel. Don't get so sucked into your phone, music, a conversation, whatever, that you don't notice weird things. It doesn't matter how comfortable you are someplace, things change constantly. Just because nothing has happened there yet doesn't mean nothing will ever happen there. If something feels off, it is. Evolution has provided us with a wonderful gut instinct, meaning our brain will pick up on things we subconsciously recognize as dangerous. Our brain then sends out hormones that give us that strange off feeling and raise the hairs on the back of our necks. We actually become more alert and focused. This means we don't have to wait for our conscious brain to catch up, giving us precious time to get away from whatever the issue is. There are a lot of small things people do that make them seem untrustworthy to our brains, even if you can't put your finger on what that is exactly. Removing yourself from the situation before figuring out what the problem is always better than having to fight/force your way out. Your instincts know this, trust them. They want you to survive above all else. They know better than you do. A great example of this is spiders. Do you ever get the urge to look somewhere and there's a spider exactly where you look? It's because your brain saw it first and now needs you to recognize it's there. Without you consciously knowing you saw it, your brain logged it as important and made sure you checked it out. Keeping your eyes open and listening to what your body and brain tell you is an invaluable asset and skill to learn. Never assume you can fight or defend yourself well if you've never been taught how. You're not the protagonist of an action movie that wins just because they're the noble victim or plucky underdog. You won't just see red or go berserk. You won't remember that one neat technique you saw on TikTok 3 months ago. People do not rise to the occasion, they fall to their level of training. And in this case, training means being instructed by a professional and having that training repeatedly stress tested in sparring, point fighting in taekwondo, or working with only a compliant partner in Krav Maga doesn't count. If you don't learn how to adapt to someone trying to thwart and hurt you in unexpected ways, your training is useless, and even if you are trained, it's not worth the risk if there's literally any other way out of a confrontation. If there's a 90% chance of you winning a physical altercation, pro UFC fighters who knock people out for a living have been killed by one unlucky shot in a real life fight. If you lose, the price you pay is up to and including your life. And even if you win, you might walk away with a broken hand and have to pay medical bills, or end up going to court, or might accidentally kill the guy if their head hits the pavement wrong. There's just no upsides to a fight if you have any other option. Check your ego, de-escalate, and go home at the end of the day. Lastly, as a side note, if you want to defend yourself but can't go through with all that training, or even get a tool that works. Cubitons, brass knuckles, and the like are stupid. Tasers are unreliable. Knives are risky and way more mentally traumatic to have to use than they're worth. You can carry a gun, I do most days, but the odds that you will need to ever use lethal force are extremely rare and the legal risk is very high. The number one tool I recommend for nearly all situations is pepper spray. I carry mine every day. If you think it's only for women or something, get that misogynistic toxic masculinity bullshit out of your head. Get a good reputable brand like POM, practice with a water trainer, and carry it every day. The legal barrier to using it is very low. If you feel physically threatened, aim for the eyes and nose, and run away. SPZ. I used to work at Walmart. As I was a young 19 to 21 year old, I work second shift majority of the time. So, I'd get out of work at 10 o'clock every night. There was a rule that all employees had to park towards the back of the parking lot. Almost always I made sure to walk with someone. If not, I'd have pepper spray or a key interlocked between my fingers ready to go. After a year of being scared to walk to my car every night, I started parking in the far left front of the Walmart lot. Now, if you were caught, they'd take a picture of your car and post it on a TV for all staff to see, and a supervisor would give you a warning and talk to you about the rules. I was caught once, but didn't give a fuck. I knew my safety was more important. I started working thirds a year after, and it didn't matter. Then point moral of the story, park in the faking front. Always have a weapon of some sort to protect yourself. And always be aware of your surroundings. Don't walk anywhere in public with your head constantly looking down at your phone. Don't share too much information of yourself. I'll use fake names when I get hit on. Watch where you're walking, and always be ready to defend yourself. I plan on taking self-defense classes, bulking up, and I have watched so many movies to prepare myself for the unthinkable. Your safety is more important. Fuck the rules. Detroiter here. Lived and worked off 6 Mile since 2014. Also, just a introverted white guy. A lot of these tips are coming at it all wrong, and clearly from people from the suburbs. Most important tips I've learned living here that get me by: walk with purpose, be aware of your surroundings, be respectful. Don't be cagey, afraid, or defensive. And rule of thumb, if you feel unsafe, you've got no business being there. Being aware of your surroundings also means being self-aware. Know how you come off. Understand what's the ghetto to you is just home to the rest of us. Consider things from their perspective. You are the intruder. There's nothing more degrading and provoking than minding your own business when a stranger suddenly looks at you like you're about to kill them, or pretending you're invisible. Which brings me to the most important one: be respectful. If somebody asks for money, don't get irritated. I used to. Now, I keep honest and empathetic. You and me both, buddy. Waiting on Friday. Next time, I got you. Does it rope me into a aimless convo sometimes? Sure, but it disarms them. If you just give them that little human recognition, I swear to God it changes the whole atmosphere. The whole block sees the way you treat people. A lot of people saying blend in. Don't look like a tourist. Lol, there's no hiding it. Trust me, if you're not from here, everybody instantly knows. If you don't feel safe, you don't belong. Period. Don't care if you're urban exploring, or there's some trendy nightclub in an industrial park. If it's not your city, or you don't know how to read the neighborhood, these places are closed off to you. Half the time people walk into trouble because they carry the same sense of security and entitlement they getting walking around their own hometown. The hood is a neighborhood. People live here. If you don't, you're intruding. Stick downtown and your touristy places. I relate to this. My best experience with really bad places is third world abroad. You're not in Europe/us. Do not take photos of cops or military. Ever. Do not take photos of areas with security. You will draw the attention of people with guns and authority. They might let you just show you deleted the photos, but they also might take you, or your phone or your cash, or all three. Do not take photos of people without their permission. They might get mad. In many cultures that's offensive, and they might feel exploited. They also might insist you pay them. And other locals will join in on that. Pointing is a bad idea in any hard place. In the third world, you can be in the hardest place and things can still be peacefully and okay and safe. But the difference in a hard place is how random or how fast things can go from 0, peaceful/safe, to 100, shots fired/mob rule. Eventually, in some line, some woman will faint, so you have to catch her. That's a scam. You'll probably be in a car with the windows rolled down. There will be traffic and times where things slow to a crawl, ripe pickings for someone to run up, grab your phone or backpack or bag, and run. I promise you that you are not the streetwise world traveler you think you are. Act smart and like you know what's up. Internally no you don't, and be vigilant and careful. Understand how pickpocketing works. Understand how grab and runs work. They are not the same. One is subtle, the other is fast and aggressive. Be vigilant about both. Don't leave bags behind in a car. You'll see a lot of hard things and poverty. If you start giving out stuff like candy or money, you'll be amazed how mobbed you will get. Maybe think twice and then 5 more times about giving handouts. Kids are used as lookouts. Kids are used as bait. Kids are used to mob you. Kids are trained as pickpockets. That local you don't know who invites you to pretty much anything should stay that local you don't know and have never done anything with. Do not assume a rule of law or property rights. Ask the fare or cost before taking, consuming, or using anything. In many places, the number one thing that makes you stick out is wearing shorts. Grown men and women in Africa, for example, do not wear shorts. If you have to say where you are from, say your state, not the US. US can go over really well or really bad, but it is rarely neutral. Iowa doesn't get much of a reaction. Your hotel room is not a safe haven. You can be robbed in your room. Your things are more likely to be stolen. That little safe is not your friend. A safe place in the day is not necessarily a safe place at night. If you're in the bush and you get shot at, it is life or death. Get out of there. Once they shoot, they are committed. The NGO nonsense of no guns or humanitarian aid on the vehicles doesn't help. Don't think means safe passage. It does not. Do not assume UN soldiers are like cops. They probably won't help you if something goes down. Be respectful in IDP camps. That is people in their worst situation. You're not a tourist and they are not a show. Your passport is life. I wear mine on a holder. T hangs around my neck and sits under my shirt. Know where your nearest embassy is. If not one for your country, know the embassy of a friendly country that respects the rule of law. Those armed guards are not like cops. They aren't getting paid to help you. Don't get lulled into a false sense of security. A lot of local markets are selling a lot of local stuff that is made in mass somewhere else. Be skeptical, but have fun. Store cash multiple places. Shoe. Money belt. A little in the bottom of a backpack. A little in pocket maybe. A little in front button pocket. Only show what you need to for a given transaction. If someone is crowding you or bumping you, don't worry about manners. Be forceful. Be loud. Get distance. And THST may require you to be hard with a girl or a kid. Study before you go. Know local manners. Learn some basic phrases. Know what to wear. Know how to act. In some places, cash is king, but they might not take your cash if it is wadded or torn or too old. Know this. Have cash you can use, and they will try to give you change in crummy cash that they took and can't use. Refuse it, or you'll be stuck too. Don't engage street harassers. Pretend they don't exist and put distance between them and you. They can't be bothered to chase you and will forget about you quickly. They're dickheads, but not engaging with them is safer than yelling back at them. I would rather not find out than fuck around and find out. If anyone or anything gives you pause, take an alternate route and avoid them. Look and walk like you belong there. Walk with confidence and ease. Long fast stride with shoulders and head up, and you'll look less vulnerable. If you're anxious, hide it. Put your card back in your wallet when it's not needed anymore. Put the wallet back into your front pocket immediately. Yes, I know some women's clothes don't have front pockets. Can't help you there. Front pockets are a lot harder to pickpocket than back pockets, and leagues more difficult than purse/bag snatching. Claw your drink or use a nightcap. Nightcaps are a pain in the ass to take off, and it's obvious when someone is trying to take it off, and clawing your drink alerts you to spiking. Also never leave it unattended. No matter who you are. Most of the time, you will be left alone. You're way more likely to be a victim of a crime by someone you know than by a random person on the street. Taking steps to mitigate the risk puts the odds of being a victim of a random crime to near zero. Awareness is essential. If you have imperfect eyesight, bad hearing, no sense of smell or low spatial awareness, or God forbid all of those, get off the street fast as you can. Spend as little time in urban environs as possible. You need to be able to see danger at hundreds of meters away, hear it from at least 100, and have the physical control to escape, or fight if necessary, which requires spatial awareness. You also should know the place you are in well enough to know every connecting street, every alleyway, overpass, underpass, cut through, rebate, basement access, every shadowed corner, every blinding source of light you can hide behind. Don't be walking while on your phone or stood there scrolling in one spot. You'll become a target, and your attention won't be focused on your surroundings. You need to keep your eyes and ears open, but you need to be relaxed looking. If you are primed, pumped up, and staring out into the night with your eyes on stalks, all full of fear, that just makes you a target too. Learn to absorb all the data around you, process it and make decisions based on it rapidly, but also with total calm. Make it a zen-like ritual in your day, practicing awareness. Choose a sound, identify it, locate it relative to your position. Learn how to locate sounds that have bounced off several buildings or down narrow passageways accurately. Play spot the drug dealers you walk around town to get you familiar with how people in the vicinity operate. It's different everywhere, so local knowledge is vital. Learn where is safe and where isn't. I once tried to buy a second-hand Apollo X4 interface from Reverb.com. They're a well-trusted site for musical equipment. I knew the whole thing was one spurious claim on top of another, but I wanted to take the risk and get that thing for $1,199 instead of the retailed pounds to K. It gets stupider. He kept saying that if I paid him through PayPal instead of Reverb he could save me the import tax and wouldn't charge for shipping. I sent this clown all of the money and was confronted by a Yandex portal, so I knew it was some chancer in Russia who thought he'd just won the lottery of idiots who drool over fancy studio equipment. Needless to say, he stopped replying to my messages immediately after the payment. I told my parents and they were actually pretty forgiving about it, seeing as I'd been pretty smart up until this gross lapse of judgment. They told me that was the money gone and there was nothing I could do about it, so I'd better just accept the loss and move on. I decided to open a case with PayPal anyway in the vain hope of compensation. I methodically took screenshots of every conversation and detailed the events from start to finish and submitted the form. A few weeks later, I got all of the money back. Turns out PayPal withholds large transactions from a new untrusted recipient for an extended period of time. So the Russian piss artist was on the other side of the world praying that I wouldn't put up a fight. Moral of the story: if it seems too good to be true, go with your damn gut FFS. And don't give up too quickly afterwards. There's a good chance they are also stupid enough to get caught out or b. not have a contingency in place to mitigate retribution from online retailers or intermediaries. The most dangerous times are unusually warm days in a cold season. Early mornings are more risky than late night, as that's when people are sobering up / coming down. If you're going out where you'll likely be mugged, carry an extra wallet with some expired cards and a bit of cash along with a crap phone. Just give away the crap versions. Keep IDs and important things in a pocket / bra / shoe. Keep emergency cash on your person in a place that's hard to access. Don't carry bags late at night. If you have to, put your cheap sheet in the nice bag and nice stuff in plastic / crappy bag. Hold your mace out where people can clearly see it in your hand, so they'll move on to an easier target. It's not a gun either. Feel free to point it at people harassing you. It doesn't escalate things like guns do. I've only had people fuck right off. They're not afraid and more inconvenienced, cussing me out the whole way. Oh, fairly obvious. Never wear headphones or pull out your phone in a dangerous neighborhood. Generally it's not great to run with headphones or leave at least one so you can hear. Put your mattress below the window line if you're living in a sketchy place. Locks and windows prevent fuck all. Everything should have bars if you're actually in a dangerous spot. Another fairly obvious one, but never hold the door for someone. Not elevators, not buildings, nothing. I've gotten out of hot water by defaulting to extremely formal customer service language. Sir, that is not possible at this time. They're usually high, so it just sets the tone. Don't involve the police if you can easily be swapped in as the suspect. I know people who were arrested when they were the victims of crimes. Treat cops like dangerous toddlers. They want to win their game / get their cookie and don't give a fuck about right and wrong. This is the most important tip. Cops are not going to help in 95% of street scenarios. They are trying to not die like everyone else. You didn't see anything, even when you did. Even when it's super sus, keep your head faced in the direction of travel. Unless someone comes up close, point, someone yells at you from a distance, pretend you didn't hear them. Point, very area and demeanor dependent, but where I live at least, if someone touches you, disengage the contact and loudly ask them something like, what do you think you are doing, preferably in a strong local dialect. You can't help anyone in any way or about any topic. Flat tire, unlucky, they are lost. Sorry, can't help. What time is it? I don't know. Want to borrow a lighter? Don't have one. Want to bum a cigarette? Sorry, all out. That is the default. Deviation is only for circumstances in which you are familiar with and comfortable. Point, someone gets aggressive about you giving them money / offers to walk with you to the cash point. I don't reckon that the ATM will give out ATP, mate. Sorry, then walk away while they are mulling over what you just said. Drunk / high folks are fairly dumb and quick to anger. If you get them thinking about if an ATM will give out ATP, it will distract them, as will their own damn no luck with this one, and allow you to disengage and leave. Point, if things look pretty dodgy, duck into any takeaway place. Pubs can work, but in some areas you might literally have jumped out of the frying pan and into the fire. Usually the middle-aged blokes who look like they have been in a dozen bar fights, been in prison at least twice, and could kill you with one hand are exceptionally reliable folks. Especially useful as a young women. Many have children and will look out for you if you bring your issue to their attention. It is still a little bit of a dice roll and they dislike time wasters. Think of it like talking to the manager. They probably want to know about that creepy guy groping your mates and being a T-Wat. They don't want you to tell them you saw someone doing coke in the bathroom. They don't care and will simply mark you down as a snitch. If folks are giving them a wide berth, it's probably because people who upset them get thrown out at best. If you have a serious issue that is a hazard to many people, ESP women, odds are they will help. Be very polite. They are basically small town wannabe mob bosses. Treat them as such and it will go well for you. On the contrary, if you are plastered and one of them comes up to you with a perfectly reasonable request phrased politely, I think you should go home, you need to do as you are told yesterday. They use manners and a soft voice in a loud pub because they have the luxury of them. Don't let it fool you into thinking they can be disregarded. I once saw a bloke lift an entire fruit machine and lob it a good 6-7 meters across the pub at someone, then going over to the landlady saying sorry and handing her a stack of cash. Their moral compass is a little wonky, but they stick to it. Learn to be early everywhere you go, so you are not rushed and distracted. Know what's going on 360 degrees around you at all times. When you get out of your car for any reason, however briefly, lock it. Keys go in your front pocket. Don't let anyone walk between you and your car. Just casually go lean on the driver's door. Don't gas up at a station next to a freeway entrance ramp. Carjackers favor those. Almost always, a bad guy tries to engage you on some premise before starting sheet, so make a solid habit of not letting people walk up to you and ask for something or get your attention from a distance. Always pretend to be busy but alert, walking fast, no time to stop. Learn to fade from the scene when you see someone spot you from down the block and head toward you to scam or panhandle or worse. By fade I mean time your move to scoot into a building when you see someone approaching to try to hit you up when you're getting out of your car. Fade down the next aisle in a store. Fade out of the bar when someone starts acting up. Even if they are not targeting you, don't look interested or shocked. Just quietly and quickly slip out without looking like you're rushing. Always be ready to change your plans to evade a problem person. See a weirdo coming down the block, wait inside the building, out of sight, until they go past. Never let anyone follow you, on foot or in a car. If you're being followed to your car, don't go to your car unless you're far enough ahead to jump in and drive away. Don't let cars sit exactly beside you at a stoplight, where your face is directly in their line of vision. Preferably, stop slightly behind the car beside you, where you can see their head, but they can't see yours. Wear sunglasses and don't turn your head to look at people, just shift your eyes. If someone pulls up behind you in the right lane at a light, and they seem at all weird, or look like they might get out of the car, turn right and go. If anyone behind you starts to get out of their car, go through the light, over a curb, anywhere, just get out of there. Do not stop so close to the car ahead of you that you can't drive away if someone behind you starts acting up. Never let a cop follow you. They are looking for a reason to pull you over. No matter who you are or what kind of car you're in, if a cop follows you, he intends to pull you over as soon as he invents a reason to. If a cop is behind you in traffic, change lanes so he won't pull up directly behind you. Always keep at least one car between you and a cop car. Never pass a cop car. They usually don't bother with the cars behind them, but if you look like a nice juicy fine, he might pull over and wait for you to pass him. So don't take a chance. Go around the block or take a different route rather than get stuck beside or directly behind a cop at a red light. If the cop somehow gets directly behind you, pull into the very next business driveway before he has a chance to make up a reason to pull you over, and calmly but quickly go inside the store as if you are running a quick errand. You will be on private property and he will have to have more of a reason to accost you rather than on the street where he can make up anything and call it a moving violation. Never look at the cop. He will think you're up to something. Source: been in all these situations. It was bad until I learned to be aware and to evade. Forget what you seeing TV and films. There's no decency in a street fight. Kick him in the buttocks, ram your thumb into an eye and crush the eyeball with your thumb. Bite a chunk out of them. Avoid throwing punches, especially when target in the skull. You can break your fingers, instead use your elbows or the palms of your hands. Never go to the floor unless you're on top of the attacker. Learn so grapple defense and some choker holds, not WWE choker holds, proper ones with a rear naked choke. Done properly you can make someone go unconscious in about 12 seconds if done right. If they just want your wallet and phone, just give it. You're not invincible, you will die if you get stabbed, and a phone and a wallet aren't worth it. Or run fast into a place with lots of pop hole point. If you do get stabbed, I don't know how true this one is, but apparently you can use a credit or debit card to stop your lung from collapsing in immediately. If you get stabbed in chest, you just take the card and pop it flat against the area. Once again, I don't know how true this is, since I've never been stabbed. Also know the crowd. If there are a bunch of football fans, don't chant different teams or say you support their opposition, for the love of God. Also always walk around with confidence. Criminals want a weak target, don't look weak. Thankfully I have resting serial killer face, so people leave me alone. Also don't get involved if it's not your business. If someone asks you for the time, just say you don't know and don't have your phone on you. I've got some decent ones. If you're committing a crime or about to, don't make it obvious. Example, shoplifting or stealing in general. If you're about to steal something, don't do a look left look right. That's way too obvious even for someone who may not be focusing on you. Instead use your ears. You'll be able to hear if someone's behind you or even next to you. Obviously do the whole get close, grab it and slide it into your pocket. One of the biggest issues with theft is the person being too paranoid about being caught. Chances are people aren't even focusing on you or are even gonna notice. I can confirm. In my class I always like taking people's things as a joke, and most of the time, when I grab someone's phone or water bottle off their desk, when they aren't looking, no one even notices until they see it's gone. Next, don't act suspicious as hell. Don't go keeping your hands in your pockets or being overly protecting of the pocket or whatever you put it in. That'll make people suspicious about you. Just act normal. Pickpocketing is much harder, but very useful. If you're pickpocketing a bag, make sure the person isn't paying attention and don't be too slow about it, but don't be too fast or obvious. If you're going for a pocket, that's where the fun begins. If someone's dumb enough to put their wallet or SMTHN in their back pocket, that's a jackpot there. You don't need to be as careful there. In fact, just go up, yank it out, and start running the direction their back is to. So if they start spinning, Head where their back is going to. It'll confuse them for a moment longer. And always try to duck into crowds or go down hallways and take turns when they can't see you. Never get yourself into a dead end. Don't hide in a closet or something without a second escape. If you find yourself in a dead end, alleyway, hallway, find something to hide in or behind. If it's an alleyway, you're more likely to find a trash can or dumpster to hide next to until they go down far enough for you to run by them and keep going. A hallway might not be as lucky because if there's a closet to hide in, they'll probably check it. If you get into a crowd, run a decent depth into it, then just start walking and weave yourself into it. It's much more obvious to find a person running and shoving through a crowd than it is to find a person calmly walking with the rest of the crowd. Also, always wear something easily removable over your clothes. Don't wear any obviously identifying pants, yoga pants with a special name on it, anything like that. Go for something plain and simple, jeans or yoga pants, maybe not even cargo, because those aren't exactly everywhere. Wear something like a thin zip up sweater/hoodie, something cheap so you can unzip it then just toss it. I'd recommend actually buying some cheap zip up hoodies just for that. A zip up's big officially don't use a flannel or coat that has buttons. That takes too long to remove, and over the head is too obvious, and takes too long. Never bring a bag. That's an obvious identifier now for protection from theft. I don't have too much for big things, but wallets and phones are a big one. Obvious one is to keep them inside your coat, if you have one on, or something zipped. However, you might not always have one on you. If you're carrying a purse or bag, don't put the valuables in there. It's so much easier to pickpocket a bag rather than a person themselves. Most of the time they'll focus on the bag just because of that. If you don't have a bag or coat on, keep your valuable items in your front 2 pockets. This is seriously important. I have no idea why people put their wallets in their back pockets. If someone walks by you or up to you from behind and grabs your wallet from your back pocket, you have to feel it, register it, notice it's gone, then spin around and start chasing them. If it's in your side pocket though, that's harder. It's right next to your hands, and your side vision can help you notice anyone coming up to do it. If they reach in to grab it, they'd have to push past your arm or go from behind, but even then you'd be able to just grab their arm. Don't have your face in your phone on the L. If you have headphones on, either take them off or keep them low enough so you can hear your surroundings. Travel light, keep your hands free. If someone in your train car is sketchy, wait for the next stop and switch cars. Carry some type of protection. A knife, pepper spray, or even a lighter can make your hands harder if you grip it when you punch someone. If someone offers to sell you drugs, even if you do drugs, turn them down. They're probably scoping whatever cash you're holding. Keep your phone light low so people can't easily read what you're texting. This helps if you're communicating your destination to a friend. Same thing goes for verbal communication. Don't mention your destination out loud while you're on the phone. If you're using a travel app, conceal it as best as possible to hide that you're not totally familiar with where you're going. If someone asks you for a cigarette, a lighter, the time, anything, they might be trying to get your hands in your pocket and away from a defensive position. Avoid small talk with people, even clerks. Clerks live in or near the area. They see certain people every day. If a group of teenagers is walking up to you while recording you, they're probably doing a smack cam. If you're a male and a female is flirting with you on the L, she may be baiting you. If you commute to work and you see some of the same people every day in passing, avoid them. TLDR, cover your movement as best as possible, leading expose any valuables, and have at least some form of protection to create distance and some time to run away. I wouldn't necessarily recommend punching someone, but if a lighter/vape/something will fit in your hand to make it more solid, it may help. Point also, stay relaxed. Don't look scared or lost. Always try not to panic or get angry or scared no matter how faked up the situation is. Just try to calm yourself down and clear your head and never be a dick. That will 100% get you in trouble lol, and always listen to your gut. It will take you out of like 95% of situations. If something doesn't feel right, just listen to it and go away. Even though you don't really know why or how, or what is causing it, there is something for sure, and your gut is often faster than your awareness, especially if you had a few beers or some weed or just having a good time and not paying attention etc. Those problem-seeking fakers are almost always looking for fear and intimidation, and I can't tell you how many times I got out of trouble by just being very calm and very mild passive-aggressive. Ran away many times when outnumbered, or just feels like nope, GTFO these people are crazy, you're gonna get stabbed, or shot or whatever, but it was all gut feeling. Got in a bad fights when there was no build up. Dudes just came swinging out of the blue and there was no way out but to swing back, and it ended up okay for everyone involved with no major injuries, few bloody noses and black eyes. I am far from intimidating and physically imposing, but I figured there is something very unsettling when you see someone is totally calm and relaxed in face of danger, been in many unpleasant situations, so my gut is now sensitive and I can feel the shit from a mile away, so I just leave before it even comes. Always look around when among sketchy people and err on the side of caution. Point 2 scenarios come to mind for me. I was on a bus with a friend of mine who is female. I'm male. She was wearing a top with a little bit of skin showing but not so much. We weren't sitting in the same two chairs but just near. Bus was kind of full. This guy in the back row was clearly drunk and possibly homeless. He starts bothering my friend. I was watching and she didn't seem fully in control of the situation. So I spoke up and said she's fine, you can leave her alone, in a deep voice. I could tell this bothered him. We exchanged a few words. As we arrived at the bus station he got up and left. I told her to wait. The bus cleared out and we got off last. There are two main exits to the parking lot. This was at night. We were going to naturally go right with the crowd, but I stopped and could see him standing near the exit looking back for us. I said we should go left instead. Not much longer of a walk. We hustled left and got in the car we were going to, and I could see him walking back to the bus and looking around for us. Bullet dodged. My new girlfriend at the time, who came from a safer community, was with me at a plaza near my house. She's not used to having to look around even just going from mall to car. She was blissfully walking with a big smile, looking back at me, and just walking forward thinking everything was cool. Meanwhile I'd spotted this guy stumbling toward us from 20 feet out. I told her to get on my left. He was on the right. Only when he got to like 5 feet she noticed him, and afterward thanked me for looking out for her. Don't stop for the overly friendly and super confident person who walks up to you for no reason in cities and towns. Keep walking. Say you're busy. If they really need help they'll get it. Most likely they are trying to con you into something or steal something from you. Point all it takes is a second to access the NFC on things like cards and phones, and people have slick hands. You're not being rude if you just keep walking. You're being reasonable. If you're abroad and someone with business cards is talking fast trying to lead you somewhere, take the card, say thank you, walk away. One swift movement. Grab thanks by point. Jiggle the card and keyboard on ATMs, gas post systems, and store card readers. Third, printers can make very thin and perfectly realistic cover units to hold the hardware needed to steal your sheet. Point. Don't log into your banking account anywhere but home, not even a friend's house. Preferably don't log into anything you care about, even at places like libraries. Use a different password for your emails than anything else you do online. Those are the most likely things you'll end up logging into away from home. Point. Don't connect to random Wi-Fi hotspots unless it's somewhere like a coffee shop. When you do log into them, make sure there's not two hotspots with the same name. If there is, don't log into either one. Don't let strangers use your phone. There's phones all over the place. They'll find one if they really need one. Point. This one goes without saying, but if anyone calls you trying to get mundane personal info about you or someone you know, just hang up the phone. There's plenty people can do with your friend's name, address, and their pet's name. Mundane info isn't really mundane if you understand how you can use it. Point. Edit. In fact, just turn the NFC off on your phone unless you're actively using it. Pretend it saves a bunch of battery or something. If a random seemingly sober individual quickly approaches you on the street at night asking small talk of you, especially if both hands aren't visible, especially if it's a compliment on something you own or are wearing, You're probably about to get robbed. Gangbangers ask the questions to make you pause and put your guard down while they close a gap. Dudes who catcall women. This is one of the reasons it's terrifying, as the altercations can start very similarly. If you're in the hood, especially somewhere crowded like a bus stop, be super careful about making contact with anyone else's shoes. If you scuff one, it can lead to violence, as shoes are a status symbol in certain neighborhoods. Never challenge a redneck point. If you're around a drive-by you aren't the target of, it is more important to get on the ground than to get behind something. Most street obstacles are not bulletproof. If you're caught starting at someone doing something sketchy and they ask you what's up or what you doing, the question is rhetorical and telling you to mind your damn eyes. Do not respond like a numbnuts, as that will become the start of a convo you don't want. No matter how apologetic or reasonable you may think your answer is, shoot up, give your head that little no, sorry shake, glue your eyes away, and walk. If you don't like cops and find yourself around them, smile when they look your way, don't look or walk away immediately. Cops think criminals are afraid of them, and innocent people love them, and are intrigued by their shiny cars. They are unaware that many are made uncomfortable by their presence. I have had a chatty conversation with some cops in a coffee shop with a pound of weed in backpack over a decade ago, just because they saw me looking sketchy and struck up a convo to see if it'd try and back out or go away. I stayed chill, so they assumed I wasn't doing anything apart from being a weird kid, and moved on to find someone else to brutalize. I grew up in the hood in LA. Here's some that I learned. Don't wear headphones while walking down the street, especially at night. On the city bus, sit close to the driver's seat. Always seems to happen further away from the driver. Always walk in the most well-lit and populated areas. Even if it takes you longer, walk fast and deliberately, and know where you are going. Try not to carry anything valuable. This was easy for me because we had nothing valuable. Lol. Wear comfortable shoes that you know you can run in. Be overly kind and respectful to store owners and shopkeepers wherever you are. You never know if you need to run in there to get away from someone. If you hear gunshots, just get down on the ground or get out of sight immediately. Most shootings in our area were drive-by shootings, so getting behind a parked car was easiest. Walk in groups. Always have friends or family to walk with. Make friends with everyone. My brothers and I were the only white kids in our neighborhood. Can't tell you how important it was to have friends from different racial backgrounds. It really helped that they all knew we were poor too. Be good neighbors. The Bloods had a gang house on our street that was clearly a major meeting place. One day my dad noticed one of their guys was having car trouble on our street and offered to help him out. Got his car running again, and after that he assured my dad that they would never give us any trouble. Keeping a small handful of coins, like pennies, in your pocket is very distracting when you throw them at someone. If you need to escape. If someone pulls a knife, run. If someone pulls out some nunchucks, laugh first, then leave. Keep your debit card out of your wallet and always keep some cash in it. If someone gets muggy, you just give them cash. Hopefully. Don't fight a raccoon over some taquitos you forgot in your backpack. Laying down flat in a field of grass is a surprisingly good enough hiding spot. Conifers with low branches are pretty good sleeping spots. If you lay in a C position. Most kitchen restaurant workers are pretty amenable to giving away food at the end of the night. Better luck maybe in finding someone on a smoke break in the back. It may come in a bucket. Most fancy all natural type grocery stores usually throw their food in a dumpster well before the expiration date, and is usually tossed very early in the morning. This may require some scouting beforehand. This typically includes the unsold sandwiches made the day before. Often will be pushed out in a cart still cold. Keep calm and always carry a towel. A hoodie, if folded properly back into the hood, doubles as a pillow. Change your socks often. Don't put your hands in your pockets when talking to cops or agitated people. Don't put your hand out to make friends with any animal you're not familiar with. If you need a few bucks and want to ask someone for charity, don't tell them a long story, just say you want beer money. If you fly a sign, be honest about it too. Don't gotta be a Rockefeller to help a fella out. The garbage can down the street, half a block or so from a tourist town restaurant will have more leftovers tossed in it than the one close by. Don't drink bum wine, egg MD 20/20, wild Irish rose, etc., under a bridge, or in some weird squatter house with people you just met at any time of the day. See point 2. That's all I got at the moment. Cheers. Point eater. Convenience stores that serve food often put it all in one bag to dispose of it in the night shortly before closing or around third shift change. It may be mixed with other garbage or not. Don't eat that stuff. Ideally, it's usually all the hot dogs, sausages, little pizzas and taquitos from the spinny hot rack things and whatnot in a single bag. See point 5. Eater 2. Keep your nails clean and manicured, like with those buffer sanding type flippy things and cuticle maintenance sheet included, and hairlines tight around the ears. Especially if you have short hair. It's weird, but it's a noticeable thing. Do you have a hat and sunglasses too? That may be useful as well. Point depends on what you are trying to accomplish. My ish is how to not look homeless, resource mastering / acquisition, and avoiding unnecessary danger. I'm 14. I chill on the streets all the time. I'm in New York City. In a bad area, mind you. As in bulletproof everything, and shootings a few times a week. Bad point never look directly behind you. Use windows as mirrors. If you think you're being followed, go in a circle. If they are still following, they are. But if they aren't, they weren't following you. Point. If you think you're being followed, whatever you do, do not geo home. Carry a stick or rock with you. Stick to defend, rock to break window, to summon cops. Don't believe sob stories. They may just be druggies looking for money for drugs. Don't carry anything valuable. Leave them at home. Point. Lock your doors and windows. Look pissed off. No one messes with someone who's already pissed. Point. Look confident and look like you know where you're going. Befriend the most intimidating people and homeless people who aren't druggies. They might be the ones you turn to for help. If you need help. Point. Mind your own business. Look like a homeless person. They'll assume you have nothing they want. Point. Don't stare, but make eye contact long enough to acknowledge the other person. Point. It takes more strength to run away from a fight than to actually fight. Don't look like a tourist. Point. Respect everything. My father was homeless. The streets are like walking into someone's home. Point. Stay in well-lit areas. Walk in groups. Walk in populated areas. Have a rap whistle. It can help. Blow it if you need help. Point. Don't cover / plug your ears. Someone could jump you and you wouldn't know because you didn't hear them. Point. Most companies in my area have a code for help. Most of the codes are like is so and so here. If you promise money, pay it up on the spot or bad things will happen. I need help. I am a digital hostage. My name is Kurt Kukerbeck, and I have been tormented and tortured by a few of my family members and the Calgary City Police, a few from District 6, as they are all attempting to steal a multi-billion-dollar trust by using derivatives to change the name on it and make it irrevocable. 1 point. My story involves a lot of stuff I never asked to be involved in. I moved into a place October 2019, 123 Queensland, Dr. Calgary, Alberta. My neighbor hacked all my accounts and started a joint investigation with Alberta BC RCMP and Calgary Police due to some questionable emails involving $75,000 in fraud alleged to have been done by a girl I had dated for a couple months in 2017. It was shut down by the Supreme Court of Canada for the use of Clearview AI, which my uncle Conrad Kukerbeck has a major interest in. The Clearview AI uses your phone and snaps a picture of you every time you turn it on and logs it and your location to be stored in a database so that law enforcement can hunt and track criminals. The RCMP complied with this order. However, a few officers from Calgary found some interesting things about me and decided to not stop and attempt to steal some intellectual property, business, and trust. Working with my family, Mark / Conrad Kukerbeck came out with a patent March of 2021 called Skill Enablement Amazon Technologies, which learns emotion through voice to determine emergency situations and automatically dispatch proper authorities. All done by Alexa, recording 24 hours a day for law enforcement purposes in your home. I am told, but cannot confirm other than my personal experience, that they have altered the results for COVID, only to vaccinate everyone, which has a much more sinister purpose. 5G. To help pull off this multi-billion-dollar heist, by using derivatives to change the name on this trust, by adding Campbell to their names. Egg. Conrad Campbell Kukerbeck, wife Joyza Campbell. He never was, and turn it into a revocable one. I have been starved, prevented from calling for help, haven't seen my children for months, thrown out of 3 places, and told to kill myself daily or my children die by these police, doctors and family members. This is real. Whenever you can, think about every possible outcome of interactions you have on streets. I call it healthy paranoia, but it's far from real paranoia. It just prepares your brain and your behavior so nothing can really surprise you, and left you frozen or not knowing how to act. That saved Myers on several occasions, because it becomes your second nature. Don't even feel it, to be aware of surroundings and wild shit that may happen. First of all, you will exactly know what you need to do, so you can stay cool-headed and do what you have to do with peak efficiency. And secondly, it gives you a confidence in unusual situations. You will give out the vibe that there's no messing around with you, because you are mentally prepared for any possible shit at moment's notice. Also, it makes you more sensitive to other people's vibes, so you can smell trouble before it begins. All conflict are usually over in just a few seconds, and if you are already prepared and know what to do, there will be no wasted time. I'm literally alive today just because of that. But big hurdle to overcome is not really being on edge all the time, so you can be relaxed but prepared. We all do this in some capacity, but if you train and think about every step, then it's a small chance that you will be caught off guard or end up in bad position. Also, learn to de-escalate heated situations, because then you have the choice of first action, punch, location, time etc. FL and stay safe PPL. Be ice. Sorry for the long list. Lived in a large metropolitan city for a long time and picked up a lot of these tips the hard way. Would have been nice if I'd known some of these before I needed to. Don't walk around with both headphones in if you're in an area that you aren't keenly familiar with. A huge part of your gut feeling is your body subconsciously gathering information through your senses such as hearing and seeing. If you completely block off your ears, you're missing a huge part of your reaction point. The amount of people I see walking around completely deaf to their surroundings is wild. Daft point, get off your phone while walking in these areas as well. Keep your eyes up and head on a swivel. Make eye contact in a non-confrontational way as you walk by. Studies have shown would-be attackers will find a less combative victim. Always walk on the side against oncoming traffic. You won't be able to tell if a car is following you easily. If you're walking with traffic, keep your jacket unzipped while walking. If someone grabs a handful of your bulky clothes, you can shed it easily and sprint away while they still think they have you. If all other recourses have been exhausted and someone tries to be violent with you, in the real world there's no such thing as a fair fight. The person who wins is the person willing to do whatever it takes to make it home that night. Bite, claw, scratch, break small joints like fingers, noses, kick in the testicles if a male. It doesn't matter. Fight like your life depends on it, as it truly may. Look for your exits when you're in a closed place. You never know if you may need to run from some nut job, and in your panic tunnel vision will set in. If a person pulls a gun in your face, don't be a hero, but remember that within 15 feet you can close that distance if it's not trained on you, and remember you can survive several bullets in non-vital spots if you have to. Don't do it unless you have no other recourse. Run first, hide first, fight last. The pocket knife that you carry in your pocket for defense is literally worthless if you aren't trained with it. When you are in a fight or flight situation, your body pumps you with so much adrenaline and cortisol that your fine motor functions such as digging quickly, efficiently into pockets are effectively gone. Keys out and ready before you leave the building to go to the car, and before you leave the car to go to your door. Remember, bad people always move in group. If someone is provoking you, looking for a fight, you're already surrounded, so run away as fast as possible. Also, good tips are, in case of a fight or a robbery, there is no need to fight. You can't win. Your best option is to attract as much attention as possible. A personal wearable alarm is much more effective than 99% of self-defense stuff like spray or those weird steel sticks or keys. Don't use keys, you will end up hurting your hand way more than your aggressor. Fights. Bad people are constantly involved in real fights. You're not. Don't pick up fights They know all the tricks also. Self-control is 50% of a street fight. If you're involved in one, maintain your composure. Hands like this, trying to block their sight while watching around, and look for an escape route, or call for help. This is basically impossible if you've never been attacked. In case you need to actually fight and you don't know how to, know your 2H/week of fit barks or self-defense course doesn't count. Cooperate, and when they are distracted hit the balls and run. Could work even on women, but never happened, so dunno. Punches hurt both people. Punching a bone is like punching a concrete wall. Keep your hand open and hit with palm. Your main goal is running away, so try to stun them, no need to actually KO. You probably can't anyway. In Europe firearms are not widespread, but you may think to carry a knife. I'm just going to say that taking out a knife, or a gun, means that you're willing to take lives, and if you're doing so, it means you have to be ready to put your own on the stake. What I mean is this: if you have a knife, don't use it in a fight if you're not ready to die, because surely people will absolutely not hold back, and since you're supposedly a good person you just don't have the kill 'em mindset. Thugs may have also. Super effective tip: the weirder you act, the higher are the chances that bad people will leave you alone. By that I mean something like take your dick out and start peeing while doing the helicopter and scream like you're enjoying that. 24F here. If you have a phone, there is no need to ask for directions. If you sleep in your car, sleep on the floor of the back seat covered in a dark blanket, keys in one hand, knife, and pepper spray in the other. Keys in ignition means you have to sleep visible in the driver's seat. Don't look all around for street signs. Take a minute or two and find the names when you cross the street. Biggest sign of a tourist is looking 45 degrees up to find what intersection you are at while spinning your Apple Maps around with volume up and Siri yelling at you. Keep your phone in your front pocket. It's a lot harder for someone to reach for your crotch rather than snag it from your butt pocket. Point: don't hang your purse on the hook of a public bathroom. Point: if you think you might fall asleep on public transport, wrap your purse around your arm twice and tuck it in your armpit, not your lap. Shoulder check your surroundings discreetly when you cross the street, like looking in your rearview mirrors. Always know who is going to be passing you from behind. Point: don't wear a shirt from the place you're visiting. Point: don't split up groups on the sidewalk. Pick a side and hug the curb. Point: when traveling, don't carry all your cash in your wallet/purse. Split it up in random places, wrapped in a pair of undies in your checked bag, etc. Pull out the cash you need before you get to the checkout. Round up a little bit, but don't unfold your $200 out for a $8 purchase at the Shell station. Point: wear comfy shoes when you go into the city. You aren't running from anyone in 5-inch pumps. Ask me anything else. 2 biggest yet easiest tips to avoid sketchy situations. Keep your head on a swivel, but don't make it so obvious that you stick out. Everywhere you go, observe your surroundings. Don't let one thing take up your focus for too long. When you enter an area, ask yourself, where are the entrances? Where are the exits? Who's here that I can see/here? Who could be here that I can't see/here? Of the people you can detect, what are they doing? Does your presence grab their attention? Make these observations calmly, nonchalantly. Don't draw attention to the fact that you're sizing up your surroundings when in new areas. Do everything you can to appear as if you're a native to the area, especially when traveling. Don't let yourself seem like you're lost, unsure of where you're going, or new to the area. Don't gesture at the buildings around you. Don't stop in the middle of pedestrian traffic to ogle the sights. Don't stop to consult maps in public, if you can help it. Try to keep your gaze at eye level, as if you've seen this area many times. Don't dress like a tourist. Make it seem like you're familiar with the area and know exactly where you're going. Those who stick out will be targeted by exploiters or worse. Ideally, you want to embody the concept of a grey man, someone so bland and assuming as to be forgettable. Don't wear flashy clothing/accessories that can either indicate wealth or draw attention from its design. Don't wear clothing unusual to the area. Don't wear backpacks that indicate you could be a tourist and/or that you are carrying expensive equipment and/or personal items. Dress in bland, dull-colored clothing that either appears cheap or is cheap, and that lack any designs or markings. Dress appropriately for the cultural area and climate. Use backpacks with featureless exteriors and that resemble normal day packs. Avoid wearing jewelry and expensive watches. If you're in the hood and see white women jogging, especially after 5 p.m., and you happen to be POC or look like white trash, slow down and make sure you drive as perfect as possible. You're entering a gentrification area and that means the police are now protecting and serving gentrifiers. No poor people or POC allowed. POC, especially black people, will have it the worst, but TBH poor whites, not in a cool hipster way, but in a genuinely poor and not very young way, get it bad too. Even if you're well-to-do and POC and think that having a big bank account will protect you in your move to a gentrifying area, don't think it's okay for you to go out and jog after 5 p.m. Those women are risky for doing it, but they are more or less protected, because if just one hair on their head is touched, the entire police force will not stop until anyone, is held responsible. Neighborhood criminals know this and won't go after them. Sorry white female joggers, you're not the bad as you think you are for not caring what anyone says about dangerous neighborhoods. It's just good old privilege doing what privilege is supposed to do. Also, the people in your gentrifying neighborhoods perceive you're doing this as a microaggression, because it is. If you are POC, you are going to have massive target on your back by the locals left behind, and you will have a target on your back by the police, who don't care if you're well-to-do. All they see is brown/black skin, and they'll assume you are part of the problem in the area. Don't engage with panhandlers, especially if they are in an area you may frequently visit. Once they see you are a sucker, they'll eat you alive every time. And, as a vet, so not just making some shit up, especially avoid the I'm a vet and down so please give me cash bullshit. There are so many programs designed to help vets. Programs available for housing, food, clothes, etc. As free as healthcare as anyone is going to get in this country. So, there are only 3 realistic options. They were never in the service. They bought a camo jacket from some thrift store. They did enlist, but made it through 3 weeks of basic before going AWOL and getting dishonorably discharged. They really were in the service and really did get an honorable discharge, but they've rejected every resource around them and only want your money for booze/drugs. Yeah, I know groups of vets, particularly Vietnam vets, weren't treated well once they got home. But Vietnam ended in 1975, meaning the war itself ended 47 years ago. Meaning, even if someone lied about their age and were only 16 when they went to theater, that would put them at 63 years old. Meaning, even if the VA rejected them, there are other social programs in place to give them housing/food/etc. Give them the VA crisis line. You can look up the hash online. Always lock your car doors. Always. Even in safe neighborhoods I lock my door when I'm in the car. Have your keys ready before you leave the store. If you're in a shady neighborhood then be wary of automatically unlocking your doors, or press the button only once, so the driver's door only unlocks. Not sure if all cars have this feature. If walking home at night and you feel uncomfortable, start talking to your phone like you're talking to someone. Even if you don't feel unsafe, it's good practice. So, if you ever are unsafe you can act natural though. If someone is literally following you, call someone. Acting like an absolute loon does work if you think someone is trying to get you. If applicable, bring a dog. I have a chow, and she doesn't like people. When I'm walking alone she's an amazing deterrent. She won't bite, but she acts like she would. Speaking of dogs, be careful who you let pet your dog. Sometimes people can try to read your number or address off their tags. Chipping dogs in this day and age is much safer, but a lost dog isn't fun either. So I put my mother's number on my girl's tag. My mother gave me permission and never put your address. No, you exit. But I'm also paranoid, so this might just be a me street tip, but I always know my exits when I'm in any building. I can go out X door, Z door, or X window, or Z emergency hatch, etc. It's good for in-home safety if someone breaks in or there is a fire blocking your main escape. If you are ever trapped in a car with someone, whether they are speeding and won't stop, or whether they will not let you unlock your door and leave, kick their windshield out. Of course this will likely only work if you are in a populated area, but people will notice it, and the shock of you doing it should make the person stop. I believe I'd read the tip in a women's magazine at some point in the past, and it stuck with me, but I'm not sure. It could have just been instinct or luck. Backstory: back in the 70s I was a teen and got into a car with a stranger. I was hitchhiking, which I usually did not do alone, and had never been an issue, and I did it quite often. The man turned up his stereo all the way and engaged the door locks. I asked him to turn the music down, and he ignored me. I screamed at him to turn the music down, and he ignored me. I unlocked my door, and he hit the auto locks over and over. I scrunched down into my seat and kicked his windshield out. He immediately pulled over, turned off the music, unlocked my door, and started yelling at me for damaging his car. This next part shows what a total idiot I was back then. He called the police to make a report to sue me for damage to his car. I told him I had to dump my pot and bong, and he said to go and do it, but stay in sight. He, meanwhile, pulled a large knife from under his seat and disposed of it. Stupid me did not convince the cops mention the knife, as I was so scared of being busted for my pot and bong, and was likely high as a kite. Of course I look back now, and am amazed that I 99% escaped being murdered and worse. The worst part is that my dad actually did pay to replace his windshield. My dad and I didn't discuss what happened as far as I recall, but I was always the wild child / black sheep of the family, who drank and did drugs from my very early teens. He might have just chalked it up to another of my bad behaviors. I actually have a decoy phone nowadays. I work in Chicago, mostly MF/9-5, but also weekends and some weeknights, as well as going for entertainment, etc. Worked in the city for 21 years, lived in it, go to it often. I've taken all identifiable information out of my backpack. I keep my wallet and other personal things in a zippered pocket under another coat. In my light top coat there is a gravity assist knife in my left hand and pepper spray in the right. Walk fast with purpose. Be aware of surroundings around you, visual and sounds, as well as the route ahead that you are taking. I'm usually aware of the next block ahead of me. Don't be looking at your phone. Don't count cash. Don't wear earbuds. I don't even carry cash. Look angry, dress down. Be wary of groups that are just chillin', seemingly have no purpose to be where they are. Don't engage. If being followed, duck into a business, hopefully a Dunkin' Donuts or McDonald's or other coffee shop. Buy a coffee. They're usually hot AF, that's another weapon. But don't be all like you know they're all scared and shit. Act normal, watch your peripherals. If you have a gun at your head, give them your bag/backpack seemingly full of whatever, but as mentioned no identifiable info, and steadfast that's all you have. Don't be a hero, unless 100% certain you definitely have an upper hand, and willing to go there. Yes, please take my work laptop, commuter mug, vitamins, charger cords, or whatever TF, it's all replaceable. Life is not point again, know your surroundings. I've always felt when something is just off, trust your gut instinct said it. If for some reason you have to fight it out, look for weak spots, eyeballs, ears, throat punch, knife to the inner upper thigh, punch just under sternum, leg sweeps, kick in the nuts, whatever. Use whatever you need to use. You could literally use a straw, right into someone's eye, into the corner, where it meets the nose. I'm also in the mindset to bite off whatever off their face, to escape and accept medical consequences, if any. Later read it too. There's also running. I'm not really a runner myself, but that is definitely an option. For me, I'm a smoker, so it would all be in bursts, and prefer other options. If you're getting money, never try to be the man. Play it cool, and keep your head down. Don't drive flashy shit and always have enough bail money. To get out 5k is usually enough for bond, 10k if you can afford it. Keep your lawyer on speed dial, memorize their number in case the deputies won't let you retrieve any numbers out of your phone, and always pay your lawyer first. It's much easier to fight a case on the outside, and with a lawyer. Never talk on jail phones, they are recorded. Call your lawyer and that's it. Never talk in holding. If anyone asks, they are probably a punk. A real G will either know who you are, or won't ask, unless you go to prison and you might have to show your paperwork. Point violence always gets police attention. You can get away with a lot of shit. Start using violence and they're coming for that and you're going to prison. If something feels shady, it probably is. Money changes people, and a lot of faked up people will do faked up things for it. Point: stay away from dope fiends. Don't let them into your life. Doesn't matter if you grew up with them, they get on that dope or start smoking, they're a wrap, and their entire life will be about drugs even after getting clean, because their life will be about staying sober at that point. Getting money breeds jealousy. Point: if you're partying and have enemies, don't get blackout drunk unless you can trust your boys. Keep your back to the wall and know who's in the club with you. Point: the feds build about 99% of their cases from informants. People will act tough, but I promise you someone you know is talking. Keep your circle small. Phone taps are ridiculously rare and take tons of manpower. You need to be a big fish for the feds to invest in that. Point: it's usually people you know who will rob you. It takes inside knowledge to jack someone. I'm not talking about a mugging. Walk like you know where you are going and you belong there, even if you are lost. Head up, back straight, hands out of your pockets, steady smooth pace. If you pass a person or a group, pass your eyes over them, slightly acknowledge them with a nod, smile, or small wave, and keep walking. If they are doing something clearly illegal, make a show of looking the other way. Look the opposite direction and up, and pick up their pace. Never run. Never stop walking. Never break your stride. Walk like your house is around the corner. As a woman, if you are accosted or attacked in a neighborhood, don't scream wordlessly, or help or rap. Scream fire. Nothing gets people's as in gay like the possibility of their sheet being in fire. Point: as a woman, if attacked by a man, don't go for the nut shot. Men are hardwired to protect their sack. Instead, fake a knee or kick to the groin, and as they twitch down to cover their jewels, slam the hell of a hand up into their nose like you want to see the back of a hand behind their head, using their own movement to assist the hit. A broken nose will blind every human for at least a few seconds, regardless of how strong / determined / high / drunk they are. Point: be aware of what your vehicle looks like to the casual observer. Everything from the way you park to the stickers you have can tell people a lot about you. For example, if you have one of those stickers that show what marathons you have done, that tells me that you often go for long runs alone. If I follow you around long enough, eventually I will get you in a position where you are in an isolated area and no one is expecting you back for a long time. Do you have stickers about your spouse's military service? That tells me you are alone for long periods of time. Stickers with your kid's school info? All I have to do is hang out around that school and I'll find you eventually. Point: most people who rap or attack women are known to that women. So don't let her guard down just because it's your husband / boyfriend's friend / coworker / family member. Obviously don't treat trusted people like potential threats, but always have an idea of how to get out of a situation where you are alone with a man. Know your exits. Know where possible weapons are. Know how to get out of the room without arousing suspicion or anger. Know your audience and figure out quickly what you would need to do to separate yourself from the situation. You don't need that random dude from the bar / work / the street / your friend's house to walk you home or to your car. If you don't know them well, why would they being with you in the cliche dark alley be any comfort? If you are sober enough to drive, you are sober enough to walk to your car without a random man escorting you. A friend, absolutely. A friend of a friend you only met tonight. Nope. If someone knocks on your door with some sales pitch and they start asking questions about when your boyfriend / roommate / husband will be home, close the door. Any outside salesperson can sell to a woman just as well as they can do a man. There is literally zero need for a legit business to know that info. And they know that and won't ask it. If walking on a busy road, walk against the traffic. Never walk with the traffic, because then you won't see a car coming if one is gonna hit you. Point: never flash or count money in public. Try not to even let people see you pull it from the bank and put it in your pocket. That makes you a target. Point: if you are going to meet a stranger, meet in a very public place and or with someone you trust. Never meet them at their house and never ever let them know where you live, because then they can come back at any time. This doesn't always work, but it can help. If you are walking alone at night, pretend to be on the phone. You are less likely to be attacked if the attacker thinks someone could hear. Walk with confidence. Most attackers pick their victims based on how they present themselves. If you look timid and weak, and scared and nervous, you are more likely to be attacked than someone who walks tall and confident and with strength. If someone puts something on your car, don't get out to investigate. This can be a trap. Just leave it there until you get somewhere safe. Having protection isn't something to fear or feel shameful for. Whether it is a gun, knife, pepper spray, one of those little alarm keychains that makes the loud noise, or if you take self-defense classes, it is better to have these things and never use them than to need and not have them. They can save your life. Also, if for some reason you get attacked and are stabbed, do not take the knife out. Leave it in, because it could be plugging a large bleed. Removing it will just open the floodgates. Don't switch sides of the street when a mob is walking on your sidewalk. My wife and I were leaving Fiesta in San Antonio late before it shut down several years back. This particular event was set up to allow anyone in for free and from multiple streets. It was a literal gangster paradise where all the gangbangers would show up and represent. So much so that the SAPD set up a processing station with a caged area at one of the entrances and a paddy wagon to drive a few blocks to the magistrate. And of all events, it was a carnival mixed with open market dining and music. So we decided to leave and headed back before the rush before it closed. As we are walking down a side street, I notice a mob of about 20 to 25 men with a couple of women in between. I could hear them being rowdy at first, and then I confirmed what I thought I heard. They were yelling a gang phrase and that identified them as an up-and-coming prison gang that was getting known big time on the streets. My wife said let's cross. I said nah, let's keep going straight. Mind you, she's from the West Side Project Saca Courts. She knows that life very well, but this was different cause they were getting rowdy. So we walked straight, made eye contact with a few, made a few head nods, exchanged con permisos wire respectus, and kept walking. We got to the car. I looked back and heard some yelling. A few guys were whistling at a group of girls with one guy. That guy pulled out a gun, and so did they. I hurried her into the car and started hauling us. Then the gunshots started. That shit was intense. My wife still trips on how nothing bad happened to us that night. A few guys were shot, but luckily no one killed. Depending on the circumstances, that is, if there are people / houses / cars around, and you are being mugged, especially if you are a woman, fight back immediately. This will so shock the thug, he will give up. I have thus far withstood 2 muggings, but managed to fight both thugs off, no doubt because I sprang into action immediately. To wit, the first time, it was 9 o'clock at night. I believe I prevented myself from being wrapped, or worse, because the guy had a car running in a nearby alley and could have easily grabbed my purse while it was dangling off my arm, my being engaged in lighting a cigarette. Instead, he stuck a hard object in my left side and, coming from my right, a black hand holding a white t-shirt clamped it over my mouth. He hissed, "Don't move, just don't move." I immediately bit his palm through the t-shirt. He withdrew his hand instantly and streaked off to his running car. I even had the presence of mind to pick up an earring that had fallen during the struggle and thought to wait while the car drove out of the alley to check the license until I realized he might shoot at me. Instead, almost laughing, I stumbled into a nearby restaurant, borrowed a phone, and called the police. Until that night, I had no idea that virtually every black male in New Haven wore a baseball cap. So, no, he was not caught. The second time was in broad daylight, in New Orleans French Quarter. As he was walking past me, a little Hispanic male reached up and grabbed the strap of my crossbody purse. I fell to the ground, fortunately, on top of the now broken strap. We struggled on the sidewalk. As hard as he tried, he could not free the purse. Meanwhile, I could see the crowd of tourists surrounding us had suddenly stopped their chatter to watch and record the struggle on their phones, as if it were not a mugging, but some kind of attraction. Finally, a tall black guy, who worked at a nearby hotel, asked if I needed help, and the little thug ran off. He got nothing. Vox 2, muggers 0. Know how to set boundaries calmly and without hesitation, especially as a woman. Most men wait and will prey on individuals that they can slowly keep crossing the line until their behavior seems normal or is expected. The fight probably isn't worth it. Actually, 100% isn't worth it. If you gotta, do you, but genuinely save yourself the risk and getting yourself charged with assault and a shitty charge on your record for a situation that you didn't initiate. You want to KO someone, punch or absolutely rock the shit out of their chin. The whiplash is what causes the KO, not the impact of a straight punch. Save pre-roll tubes to be able to sneak joints into festivals or wherever. Having a small hard case is way easier to stash on your body. Go get some free Narcan. Just do it. Go to CVS or find a free program, there are tons. And know the signs of opiate odd. You can drastically impact someone's chance of living. God forbid you're unsure about someone and you want to figure out the type of person they are. If you're having a combo with them, just stop talking but still nod. People will fill in the space and slight agitation of silence will tell you everything. This one is a bit tricky or a tip. Use with caution. Personally use it all the time, but normally I'm groups and you wanna de-escalate growing tension, like right before a fight. Just start laughing. It shows the antagonist that you're absolutely not interested and do not see their actions as significant. But you really need to laugh like it is not important to you and then leave. No one will question you if you don't. You're trying to sneak in somewhere or snag something. Just do it and stop attention to yourself. Petty theft, just don't if you don't need to, but always keep your numeric value of what you're stealing low. Stores are more likely to call the cops if you're stealing something significant and not the other way around. Friend got arrested their 18th birthday for stealing something shitty that was apparently worth a lot. Be mindful. People are dumb and bigoted and will be shitty. Learn to step in when it is safe and when you can. But if they are personal attacks, it speaks to their stupidity and not you. Let it roll of your back. Never sit with your back to the door, always know your exit. Tuck your chin and push your shoulders up immediately if someone tries to headlock you from behind, because if they get under your chin you'll be out in 3 to 8 seconds. Always check the Uber license plate and change your name on your account to a male version. If you're a woman, talk on the phone. If you are walking alone home late at night, automatic witness and can keep you calm to escape a situation. If you're in one and the person is still advancing, don't admit to living alone. Also, don't indicate you are new to an area on a dating app. I have no support system or location awareness here. Don't trust if you hear a baby crying out a window or by the door of your apartment. PPL will use a recording to lure you out. Just call the police at the kid if you fear there is one left alone outside. Fight as hard as you can and be as loud as possible if a stranger in public is trying to take you / drag you to another location. Chances you are killed or the process is drawn out shoot up if they take you somewhere else. On the other hand, don't fight someone for your stuff while they are mugging you. It's not worth the physical threat of harm. Never sit and wait in your car before leaving a parking garage, especially women. Like others said, get TF off your phone while walking, especially at night, because your eyes also won't be able to adjust super quick in the dark to your surroundings when you look up. Never look like you DK where you're going. Don't listen to music, or this makes you appear off guard and vulnerable. In a restaurant, going to the bathroom right when you get there helps you get a good scope of the place / exit / etc. Sit where there is no one behind your back if possible. Never sling your purse on the backrest of a bar stool / chair. So easy to just take it walking by. Never give a valet your full set of keys, just the car keys. Never leave electronics of any kind visible in your car. It's also just good to keep your phone in a secure spot in case of a crash, so you'll always know where and it doesn't go flying. Lol. TB to GPSs. I remember I learned to never suction one to a surface in the car, because if PPL see the mark they are more likely to break in. Never follow a stranger you don't know anywhere. Not to see a dog, not to help with a car, not to nothing. If your stuff has already been stolen from say an office / break room at work / gym locker room, think back to anyone loitering around you beforehand. Someone out of place. Oftentimes PPL work in pairs / groups too. Using public transportation in shady areas can be interesting to say the least. You should generally try and keep your belongings close to you and look attentive. A few days ago I was on the train in a car that was like 30% full. I was sitting almost directly across from a dude and we both had our phones out minding our own businesses. As we passed through a rough area a guy boarded, and I immediately got the feeling he was scoping us out. I had a backpack with me that originally was lying free on the seat next to me, but I instinctively wrapped the arm straps around my right arm so nobody could easily grab it and run off the train. I kept looking at my phone though, and didn't put it away. I probably should have. Would recommend that, if doing that, to remain calm and not gawk. Either way, if I hadn't secured my backpack I would have appeared inattentive and likely gotten robbed. The guy sitting across from me ultimately got his phone snatched right out of his hand. The thief timed it perfectly. As soon as the train started getting into the next stop he made his move and was out the door as they opened. Point: if this happens to you, as tough as it is, do not give chase. If you actually try this, you will find yourself in the middle of an unfamiliar, usually dangerous area, and without a phone or way to stay safe. In some cases the thief might even want you to give chase, so they can kick your ass in a more secluded area. Best course of action is to write down the train car number, the time it likely happened, stay on the relative safety of the train, and try and see if another passenger will call the cops/a friend. Eye contact. When you look someone in the eye, say, at a club or somewhere, there are 3 things you shouldn't do at all. Do not break eye contact first, don't look down, or try to be friendly. If you look down, you are below than the other person. If you wanna be neutral, break eye contact and look around, and now you identify as a neutral person in their perspective. If you hold on eye contact for more than 30 seconds or so, give them a nod, not up but downwards nod. This can save you in case the other party intends to make some trouble. Act crazy if you are alone at night and you think someone is following you. Try to make your feet silent as possible and count how many people are following you. Change your lane, and if you still are being followed, try and act as crazy as you can. Laugh like a creep, talk gibberish etc. Mind your own business. If someone approach you out of nowhere, try to stay clear. Don't be like, oh, L should probably give him spare change. Don't. That person probably has people up ahead, and when they know where your wallet is located, his other friends will pickpocket you. If someone even wants to talk to you, get out of that conversation as quickly as possible. Try to blend in. Blend into your surroundings. Try to be in a crowded place if you think you're in danger. If you are going in a dangerous place and will return at night, wear dull and dark cloths, brown, gray, black. You can blend into the dark areas better, if possible. Do not engage in direct combat. This is more serious than you can imagine. Even if you have trained in martial arts before, if you do not have experience in IRL, spars do not count. Run and run like a beach. Hide in the large dumpsters. Don't go into alleys if possible. There could be a chance you will probably meet more thugs there. If L remember more, L will edit them. Went to grad school which was right next to a rough area. Point: don't flash money, ever. If you're walking around in a $1000 plus Canada Goose with those white iPhone headsets, you're basically screaming at the world to come mug you. In situations like this, you are also completely unaware of your surroundings. Don't do this either, and much more likely to be targeted. This was basically a weekly occurrence, hearing about some student getting jumped. This also applies when traveling abroad. I tend to go off the beaten path when traveling. The most common sign of wealth is your watch and clothing. I just bought a $10 Walmart watch and rest down to avoid a second glance. I'm pretty tall, so first glance is unavoidable. For the love of God, if a crime is occurring, don't make eye contact. Get yourself a safe distance away and then assess the situation to call police if necessary. Playing the hero will get you hurt. Point: if someone is selling you brand name stuff at a massive discount, it was most definitely stolen. Point: be friendly. If a group of guys is hanging out on the corner and you walk by, politely say hello or give nod of acknowledgement. Word travels fast and recognition can save you from becoming a target. This one is more general to life. Most people will lie to you about something. If it sounds too good, it usually is. If the story makes the speaker look good, they are like embellishing details. Trust your instincts. If you get uncomfortable, but don't know why, your subconscious is telling you danger is lurking nearby. Point: avoid back alleys and dark areas. That's all I can think of right now. I grew up moving a lot from rich neighborhoods to ghettos to the boonies, and I'm not sure what's street tips or just general life advice. But here you go. Point. If their movement ever seems odd or rehearsed, be extra aware of your surroundings. Don't ask questions, observation will answer. People take it as you questioning them, not seeking knowledge, and they don't always know the reason they do things. If it feels off, make up an excuse and leave. Sometimes we're just freaked out over nothing, but sometimes we know a bad situation without knowing why we know. Trust your gut. Point. Always act like whatever you're doing is the most natural thing in the world, and most people are blind to it. Point. Be a straight shooter. If you bullshit too much, it's easy for manipulative people to manipulate your reputation without you ever knowing. Conversely, it also makes it easier to lie if the situation demands it. Never assume who someone else is. Just because he looks like a bum doesn't mean he is a bum. Point. Always know where your exits are and what's going on around you. Point. If you're bullshitting your way into a place you shouldn't be, have an answer to someone trying to stop you, and always stay calm and look annoyed. Never get angry, demanding, or frustrated. Point. Always keep your cool in stressful situations. Learning to control your breathing helps this a lot. If someone is loud and aggressive, he's trying to fight. There's almost always an option that isn't run away or fight. Use the information at hand to find it. Point. Know if you would rather live a coward or stand up for what you believe. People who shame you for the first probably aren't the second. Point. Know where the most valuable things in your life are at all times, and if you're asleep, be able to reach them in under a minute. Always have water at a party or event. Never go off alone with someone you just met without telling a friend. And if you're that friend, always check on your buddy both when he leaves and when he's supposed to be back. My sister's boyfriend and best friend almost got shot by some punks trying to get blooded into a gang because they went outside to sell the Abe gang members weed and didn't tell anyone where they had gone. Luckily, my sister got nervous and started looking around. Point. Always wear something you can run in. Do none of these things. Seriously, you will hurt yourself or someone else. I was raised in a very unhealthy community. Point. If you glue a BB to the primer on a shotgun shell, it makes a handy faux device if thrown at a surface properly. Point. Only break one law at a time. If you work for a forensics lab for a while, when cops run you, when you get pulled over, they see your name on all the cases and let you go. Congrats, you are one of the good guys. You can always frame it on someone with less social power than you, especially if they are more different than the authorities than you are. Point. Most elevators use the same keys. Getting to rooms you aren't supposed to access to use the shooter is pretty great. Point. Cop cars used to all be keyless. Like most older RFID access systems, can be defeated pretty quickly, but they also have keys, which, you guessed it, 90% of those suckers use the same two keys. Never have your phone with you when doing crime. Not off, not battery out, just faking not with you. Dream world as you leave it someplace, and then take drone resistant routes. Use Tails Linux for OPSEC and Montero for any illegal purchases made online. Point. MDMA is better as fuck. Point. Coke numbs your gums. You can make thermite with rust and aluminum powder you can pick up at better paint stores. Face masks do not totally break facial recognition, but a baseball cap with a really bright eyelid typically will. Point. You can break into a car with metal pallet strapping more easily than a coat hanger or brand name Slim Jim. Point. You need the strikers, not the matches to make meth. Point. Open your mouth if a big explosion is coming toward you. Reduces pressure differential and protects your ears. When hitchhiking, always carry a knife for self-defense. Ideally one with a glass breaker or a shard of spark plug ceramic on the pommel. Always sit in the front. No child safety locks. A couple, man and woman, gets rides faster than single man, single woman, double man on a stage. IMV based on geography. Road dogs improve everyone's odds overall, but limit the total number of possible rides. So can turn you into a leather tramp really fast in the wrong spot. I spent a few years as a thru hiker, so I did a lot of hitchhiking. Here's my advice on doing that. 20 bullet points. Walk to the edge of town and stand on the road that leads to wherever you're going. That way the drivers will guess that you're going to the same place. No driver wants to stop, ask a hitchhiker where they're going, find out it's not the same place, and have to drive away. No one wants the work, and no one wants the disappointment factor neither. Make sure your big hiking backpack is clearly visible. A hiker is a class-coded activity. Thanks. Patagonia, whereas a bum who cheats in the woods is not. Differing opinions on whether to wear your backpack or have it at your feet. I prefer at the feet. It seems less imposing, but also, that fake are gonna be heavy when you're leaving town with a full resupply. Make sure your trekking poles are folded away and stowed in / on your bag. Differing opinions on whether it's better to have the tips visible, since it signals A, that you're a hiker, but B, that you're carrying giant stabbies. I've tried both a bunch and haven't noticed a real difference. If you're carrying anything real stabby looking, ice axe in particular, make sure it's not visible. You can look like complete and utter trash, filthy and rotten like a damn Dark Souls mini boss, so long as you've got a smile on your face. Stand where a driver can see you for at least 5 seconds as they approach. 10 is better. This way they have a chance to check you out and think if they want to stop. Stand in a place where a car can safely and easily pull over to pick you up. Amazing how many hitchhikers don't think about this. If it's dark out, stand underneath a street light so they can see you. I recommend standing past the center of the light so that your face isn't in shadows. If it's dark and there's no street lights, you can also set your headlamp on the ground and shining at you. This looks so smart, or even so official, that it gets hitches really well. And if this means you have to walk a mile or 2 up the road to find a good spot to hitch, do it. 10. If a car pulls over, run up to the driver's side and say hi, or thanks for pulling over. You're gonna be in the car with this person for a while. I've had several hitches over 100 miles long. Make a good first impression. 11. This also gives you a great out. The driver will usually say, "Where are you going?" or something. If you've got a bad vibe from the driver, this is a way to get out of getting in the car. Like, "Sorry to bother you. I'm a hiker and my phone died. Could you tell me if this is?" When he confirms or denies, say thank you. I'll get back to trail then, and turn around and hike away. You can also say, "Sorry to bother you. I faked up my water supply and I was just wondering if you had a spare liter." This is more obnoxious, but like, in the Mojave or the Grand Staircase I have been faking tempted, let me tell you. 12. If you get a bad vibe from a hitch, don't get in. Doesn't matter if it's awkward. Don't get in. For the record, this has never happened to me. Not once. But I'm also a beardy man dude, so, ick now. 13. I've had several hitches that were drinking while driving, several that were smoking up, and one that was doing both. Guy in his late 70s. Car was missing an entire door. Ended up spending the night at his mansion. Yes, mansion. Unless they're visibly too wasted to drive, I would not worry about it. The number of people who drink while driving in this country is absolutely bananas, but they have all been a better driver than I'll ever be. Also, you are real likely to get offered a beer this way, and you ain't driven. 14. I've also had several hitches that were quite open about the fact that they were transporting weed. Vast gigantic amounts of weed. The correct response to this, as far as I'm concerned, is to say wow, cool. Because then there's a 90% chance you will be given free weed. Someone once handed me 2 ounces. I don't even smoke, but my friends did. 15. If the hitch says something like "I have a gun," it's not a threat. It's saying "I'm picking you up, but I'm real scared about it." Mollify them. Say something like "That's fine. I won't give you any trouble." 16. If the hitch pulls over to get gas, I always offer them $5 if I have it. They almost never take it. But like, karma, and often instant karma, that is that $5 often turns into getting bought lunch or offered a place to sleep for the night. 17. If the hitch pulls over and you want to get out of the car to pee or whatever, there's a big question. Leave your backpack or take it with you? I almost always take it with me. I'm terrified of the driver running off with it, either on purpose or even accidentally, as I've heard has happened. I just say something like "Hold on, need my wallet or toiletry kit," and then just take the whole bag, so it's clear I'm not doing it because I distrust them. The only downside here is that if you take your bag, there's less disincentive for them not to run off on you. But this has never happened to me before. 18. If you're gonna store your pack outside, on a roof rack, or in the back of a pickup, use your straps to clip into something so it doesn't blow away. 19. A lot of drivers want to use you as a free therapist. No worries. Let them. Spread some joy in the world just by listening. And a lot of drivers got real interesting stories, and some are just so sweet. 20. Some drivers will offer you money. Ain't nothing wrong with taking a 5 or a 50, not in my book. Once I lost my wallet on a hike, and I was real screwed. I just mentioned this out loud to the driver, but then said I'll be fine, and didn't bring it up again. Every one of them offered me cash and most offered to hook me up with a meal or a place to stay. The cash saved my faking bacon. I took one up on the meal, and thanks to the internet we are friends 4 years later, 3,000 miles away. Just pay it forward, here? Carry yourself like you know how to handle yourself. Point literally as you're walking around. Imagine you're the danger. Walk confidently. Balance cool indifference with a sense of purpose and feigned familiarity with your surroundings. You're no stranger to the streets. You've been in worse places before, and anyone faking with you is faking with the wrong person. Point criminals from thugs to robbers are actually pretty selective in who they target. It's no different to bullies. If you look like a timid, confused tourist you're asking to be robbed. Point. If you look like you're more trouble than it's worth, they'll usually pick on someone else. Point. Also, know when to stand your ground most of the time, and when to give in. Rarely. In Cartagena, Colombia, I was surrounded by 3 gangsters who demanded I hand over $50 in a shakedown or they would murder me. I refused, stood my ground, told them calmly, while looking them in the eye I was a veteran. I didn't give a shit if I died. They were faking with the wrong person. Explained there were witnesses everywhere, and told them to fuck off and try that shit on a different gringo. Point. As soon as they realized it was more trouble than it was worth, and there were other easier targets elsewhere, they backed down. I'm not a big guy, and while I can hold my own in a fight, there was no way I was beating 3 guys much younger and bigger than I was, and that's before the question of if they were armed or not. But I'm a veteran, and I didn't give a shit if I died, and I sure as shit could have faked at least one of them up before they took me down, unless a gun was involved, in which case I was deader than fried chicken. I put doubt in their minds. They're used to scared gringos handing over money, and it wasn't worth murdering some random gringo over $50 in front of hundreds of witnesses, which I was banking on. Some random Australian staring them in the eye and telling them to take that shit elsewhere through them. Point. It's the same when the cops shake you down for a $50 on the spot fine or whatever. Know when to stand your ground most of the time, and when to give in if you're dealing with an actual mad dog. I thought I had street smart until I was in New Orleans a few years ago. I was walking down one of the main touristy streets in the middle of the day, foggy and hungover from the night before, when suddenly a large dude, I'm not small by any means, but this guy towered over me, steps in front of me blocking my path. So my brain is just like, how, what's happening? Then without a word he drops down to his knees in front of me. I'm scrambling to understand what's going on, and when I look down this guy is shining my crusty 5-year-old sneakers with a rag and a spray bottle. So he quickly finished, and I'm like, oh thanks. But I try to step around him, and he gets up and blocks me and says that's $20. So I kinda laugh and say I didn't ask you to clean my shoes, and I'm definitely not giving you $20. That's when he got really aggressive. He basically starts screaming for me to give him the 20 I owe him. I try to walk by, nope, he's blocking me, so I spin around, which was scary, because now my back is exposed to him, and I walk the other way. So he's following right behind me, and then he grabs my shoulder and tries to pull me back. So I was just like, fuck it, I guess this is happening. I jump back, and get into my best fight pose with my fists up, like I was taught. He's like, oh, you gonna fight me, bitch? So I'm like, yup, I guess so. When he saw I was ready to actually throw down with him, he finally just cursed me out and finally walked away. I still can't believe how fast this encounter happened and escalated. Anyway, so be more vigilant than I was that day, lol. Point. Sorry about the wall of text. I tend to tell long-winded stories on Reddit. I apologize. In a rough neighborhood, keep your earbuds out of your ears. Don't stare at your phone. Point. More importantly, keep situational awareness by looking around with your eyes. Don't move your head around too much. It sounds weird, but someone walking along sweeping their head back and forth looks like they are unfamiliar with the area. Don't look up a lot either. Practice right now. Look up at an angle and left and right like you're looking at street signs / storefronts. Doesn't it feel like you're lost? It projects that sense. Keep an eye at street level. Keep awareness with your eyes, not head. Make use of reflections in windows and shadows to see if anyone's following you. This may all sound paranoid, but trust me, all it takes is for you to get sucker punched once before you start to think like this all the time when in public. My other piece of advice matches what a lot of people are saying. If there's a group of younger people, men or women honestly, who are being super loud and obnoxious to others around them, there's a good chance that any sort of perceived slight against any of them will result in a fight. Loud groups of teenagers / young adults are full of hormone / machismo / anxiety, and individuals in the group will always be looking for an opportunity to show off to their peers. Often that comes in the form of starting shit with strangers. It's best to simply avoid them or find yourself getting kicked in the ribs on the ground by a dozen people. Source: seen this happen multiple times. Always have your keys out and ready to go when walking to your car alone or anywhere at night, so you don't become a potential sitting duck fiddling in your bag for them outside your car. As soon as you get in your car, the first thing you always do is lock your doors, not seatbelt, not adjusting the seat, or rearranging your shopping bags. So many people have left themselves vulnerable to a fast-moving ne'er-do-well by not locking their doors first. When walking alone at night or in a new surrounding, actively perceive, meaning every once in a while, check behind you to make sure no one is following you. Identify upcoming parts of the sidewalk that are not as well lit that you can navigate away from. Make note of a loud group of people arguing at the next corner so you can prepare to change course if it appears a fight or something is breaking out. Active perception doesn't mean gawking. Like others have pointed out already in this thread, don't put yourself in a situation where you're an up-close and personal witness to something nefarious the perpetrator doesn't want witnesses to notice. If it's unavoidable, you're being attacked, say, that's when you can get observant. Make note of anything you see to give to law enforcement. Freckles, acne, tattoos, piercings, height, weight, mannerisms, tics, what they are wearing, accent, etc. It all helps. Also, an addendum to the navigating new spaces and active perception. Take very specific mental notes on things that aren't likely to change, seasonal or sale signs, for example, during your journey, or be massively affected by light or time of day, of landmarks around major next steps in your course. Like, okay, at the turn I make to get to the road I need to take, there's a 7-Eleven with a construction project out front. Then, keep walking until I see Smith Street, where I know there's a bright pink house on the corner that I need to go down. This kind of memorization has helped me so many times when my phone has died or I'm walking home at a different time of day and everything looks different. It never hurts to travel with a portable fully charged phone charger battery thing and functional charging cord for all essential devices in your bag. This has also saved my ass. Some travel street smarts I've picked up along the way. Always be aware of your surroundings. Do not be distracted by other people or your phone. People will try to distract you. Download a map of the city before you get there. Be able to access it quickly so people don't notice you don't know where you're going when you glance at it. Do not pull out a giant paper map if you aren't in a safe place. Keep a small amount of money in an easily accessible pocket in case someone wants to rob you. You can hand it off quickly, or for buying little things without showing everyone all your funds. Keep your other money and phone in a money belt inside your pants. Money belts should not be visible. Never keep your phone in a pocket. Way too easy to steal. Keep money hidden in different places. Bring plenty of cash. You might end up without an ATM. Don't carry your passport around with you unless you need it, or it's not safe. Wear your luggage is always. Travel with copies and pictures of your passport. Will make life a lot easier if you lose it. Don't wear expensive jewelry. Don't try to be flashy. Wear a fake wedding ring if you are a solo female traveler in case you feel like you need it. Might need to claim your husband is meeting up with you soon. Do not wear clothes with English writing on them, or anything that makes you stick out / easily targeted. You're already a tourist, at least don't be that obvious. Most people are nice and will help you if you need it. Go into a store if you need help. Any restaurant or bar can call you a cab. Make sure you are using real cabs. Ask a local how to tell. The police aren't reliable everywhere. Don't count on them to help you. Don't show your documents to people claiming to be with the government. No one will need your documents unless you're crossing a border or checking into your hotel / hostel. Don't trust anyone in your hostel rooms. Do not leave your phones out and charging. Use a portable charger for your phone in your bed overnight. Lock up your stuff. There are so many scams. Just say no to everything. No, you don't know the time. You don't know how to get Az's. You don't know anything. Try not to give attention to the people seeking it at all. Keep moving. As soon as you say anything, your accent might trigger further interaction. Always watch your drink. Bartenders can be in on it too. Pay attention. If in a crowded bar, always get a beer in a bottle so you can put your thumb over the top of it for protection. Rule of thumb. Try not to get very drunk. You are very vulnerable and careless when you're drunk. People using alcohol / drugs sometimes act erratically. Don't engage. Don't make eye contact. Walk away from people acting strangely. If people insult you, not your problem. Be ready to run. Always better than fighting. Always trust your gut. You don't have to be able to explain something for your instinct to be right. Exit whatever situation you're in as soon as things don't feel right. Who cares if you were wrong? At least you're safe. Always stay safe. Use your manners and people will respect you. Learn please and thank you in their language. Much of human behavior is predictable. Have confidence and get help when you need it. Respect the streets and the streets will respect you. Some of the learnings worth to share. If you get in an argument at a bar, invite the aggressor to a drink and have a drink with him. Works de-escalating most of the time. You can only calm someone down if you are calm yourself. Speak like a late night DJ from a radio station. However, if you get caught into an one-on-one, throw something to your opponent like an easy to catch ball. It's an common reflex to catch it, and thus his arms are blocked and he is distracted. If your opponent wears an open jacket, try to pull it from the bottom above his head to immobilize him further. More than one people. Run like hell. When in foreign country, have some paper money in your socks and make a official copy of your passport before you leave your hotel, etc. Leave the original passport in your room. If need some directions, ask pizza delivery guy for help, as they don't need you to earn their money. When moving to a new city / country, make sure to be kind to every homeless people in your new hood. Talk to them, give them something to eat and to drink. Treat them like everyone else. By doing so, they can give you some information about the neighborhood. 8. When traveling with a friend in public and who has your number and you want to talk with him in private, write him a message and ask him to show you that meme again he had shown you earlier today. 9. Obviously hear on your gut feeling. 10. When in foreign city, make sure to get familiar with your neighborhood and make it your common ground. Always stand with both hands up in front of your body in a non-threatening but ready position to ward off surprise attacks, because that's how they happen. When someone is within a step or two reach from you, watch his eyes intently, while at the same time taking in body language and movement with peripheral vision. When they decide to attack you, you'll see it in their eyes just before they move. It takes a few slugs in the face and a slash wound or puncture wound or two before you'll figure it out. Good luck with that. Edited to @ if you want a surefire way to escape someone, no matter their size, without having to kill them, carry a high quality automatic knife. It's gonna cost almost as much as a pistol. I prefer a dagger blade sharpened as sharp as a razor on both sides of the last 2 inches of the blade. You must put them at ease, so pretend that you are even more terrified than you are. Appear helpless, wounded, mental retardation, anything to put them at ease. You must practice this over and over in dry runs, until pulling and opening the knife becomes ingrained into muscle memory. Take the knife, as it's opening your hand is already moving into position, to slash his forehead with your razor sharp knife. It doesn't matter how small and weak you are. If your knife is sharp, it will lay the flesh open above his eyes, and every faking one bleeds profusely from head wounds. Especially forehead wounds, this causes blood to immediately blind him, and no one can continue the fight with his yes full of stinging hot blood point. It's rough, but so is life sometimes. Don't be a victim. From some experience, although to be fair, I have the street cred of Pat Boone. I came from the punk experience of the DC scene in the early 1980s, but the best street sense is to stay on the street as little as possible. Make a beeline from point A to point B, and be aware of your surroundings. No music on earbuds, you will be attacked right as the guitar solo got good, like how Waz interrupts the favorite part of your song every damn time. Some other ones. Travel in groups. Punks made for an easy target, but we were known for being batshit insane among our own kind. I'm not sure the impact now, but in 1982, having razor blades for earrings and a safety pin through your nose or cheek meant, I enjoy pain, give me an excuse to die today. Truth is, we'd probably run. Pain fucking hurts, fight crazy. Street thugs jump you, they are most likely just kids who want easy money. Don't make it easy. Bite, claw, spit, vomit. Also, in a group, or target one guy. If 3 people attack you, go for the closest one first, or the one who doesn't have an exit. Sometimes they back away, to draw you to the others. We'll then all fight you. Once you have beaten the first one, the others almost always run. If you're outnumbered, and can't get away, and can't overpower them, make sure to go for the face, eyes, sternum, and kneecaps. If you're gonna die anyway, make them remember you. But fighting crazy has an extra, but not guaranteed, element of fear. Again, they want easy targets. Not hard targets. Never be the first to draw a knife, or any weapon, really. If they open with a gun, chances are they can't fight worth shit, but gun always wins. Have a jeweled money clip with expired credit cards and a $20 bill folded around a bunch of $1 bills. Toss it and run crying, please don't hurt me. You'll be out about $30, but not your wallet or cell phone. Point pepper spray has a delayed reaction of about 3 to 4 seconds to someone on adrenaline, unlike the movies. Keep that in mind. Having been, lived, and worked in some of the roughest parts of Baltimore, I can't stress this enough. Act like you belong there. The less you look like a potential victim, the better. Act. If you get lost, pretend like you know where you're going. Look for a bodega or a liquor store. There are plenty of liquor stores in poor areas. Don't walk around looking at your phone. I find that a lot of times, women will call people to be talking to someone when they are uncomfortable. That's okay for a big city, but I feel like that just lets potential bad actors know what kind of phone you have in rougher areas. If something seems off, square up, do your thing, be intentional with your actions, act confident. Most people won't mess with someone who looks like they're confident, because body language indicates they're not easy prey. Obviously this doesn't work as well for women, but it can, depending on the situation. Last but not least, leave prejudice a block behind you. Situations are dictated by whether people feel like you're a peer or not. If you clutch your pearls like the stereotypical white lady trope from movies in the 70s, people will be less receptive to you. My experience has been that people in poorer neighborhoods are people. They have compassion. They have lives just like everyone else. Treat people like your neighbors, and less like someone who you don't want to associate with, and they'll treat you in kind. A lot of the game of life is a rat race of people scrambling over others trying to keep their heads above the water. If you act like a peer, you don't get dragged under as someone who doesn't matter. If you look and act like someone who doesn't regard them as people, like you think they're beneath you, people will turn on the jets and try and act dominant. Never let someone talk you into committing a crime for free. Don't trust women or men you just met, especially around your valuables. Never loan your vehicle. Visibly intoxicated people are targets for robbery. Passing someone alone in the dark, stay at least out of arm's reach. If police come, go outside and talk to them. Only answer questions simply. Don't offer anything. If asked to go to police station, you likely need a lawyer. Never take a polygraph. If you end up in jail, trust no one. Accept nothing. Stay away from the 3 Gs. Gangs, gays and gambling. Not a shot at gays, but they are the start of trouble. Keep your charges and details to yourself if the case is open. Always plead not guilty. If you sell anything and someone asks for way more than usual, they're probably trying to rob you. Never tell anyone, even / especially your woman, all your business. Avoid fights. Avoid being outnumbered. Oh, we gonna let y'all run the fade one-on-one. Yeah, you just better not win. If you don't know the score, keep your mouth shut. Let as few people as possible know where you live. I'd rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6. Especially for women, your keys make great weapons when walking to your car. You are vulnerable walking alone to your vehicle. Have makeshift weapons, things not generally considered weapons, in vehicle and trunk. Don't make threats. If a fight is inevitable, fight, don't threaten. Mind your faking business. Oh, that guy parked in handicap, not your problem. Avoid carrying large amounts of money. If so, separate it from your walking around money. People who use hard drugs, even if you do, aren't your friends and shouldn't be trusted. Men to men, make eye contact and nod, but don't stare. Don't gawk at or disrespect or flirt with other people's women. When people are having relationship issues, be a friend, but keep your opinions to yourself. They almost always get back together, and you will then be avoided. Two people in a relationship with bad drug habits can never get clean together. If someone steals from you or rips you off, they'll do it again. If they do it to everyone but you, it's just a matter of time. Don't flaunt your success or wealth. People with drug habits are very likely to snitch. If you're going to commit a crime, tell nobody. The best team is 2 people, someone to watch your back, and if someone is talking, you know who it is. Don't use phones for illegal activities. Not here to victim blame, but women put themselves in dangerous situations, especially when motivated by drugs. Don't show weakness. If someone thinks they can intimidate you, it'll always get worse. If they intimidate you, stay away. If your woman thinks it's cool for you to fight over her or otherwise, dump her. Nowadays there's cameras everywhere. Act accordingly. No matter how big and bad you are, there's someone badder. There's plenty of people that will stab or shoot you at the first hint of an altercation. Be careful intervening in a domestic issue. There's many examples of both parties attacking the hero. Don't fuck with people's kids. Or my cat. When you are setting out to sleep, find somewhere that's not too busy and where you aren't going to be seen nor disturbed. Put something to lift you off the ground so all your body heat doesn't go into the ground. Use newspapers as a way of insulation. You can shove loads of newspapers and magazines down the sides of your jacket. You can also use bread crates for the base, but I found these less preferred as the sharp edges cut into my back if I don't lay something down on the crates, like corrugated cardboard or newspapers. You get more mileage from cardboard. Don't make a nuisance of yourself, and you may be left in peace. Sleeping in a doorway of a commercial property where there's an alcove will help keep you alive too, as there's a lot of warmth in the buildings. Don't break in anywhere occupied. An old building that's open ECT point may be okay, but the stairwell of a set of flats not so. The police don't care and will rap or harm you in any way they can think of. You are to them worthless. Trust me. Share food and resources with others, but be aware that others may have mental health issues from being on the streets for a while or having fled situations. Sleight of hand is helpful, so you end up with friends, but not dead. Point trying to stay clean is important for your mental health, but it's hard. Really hard. So, use charities. Use the restroom sinks. Use whatever you have to stay clean. It's numero uno. People are assholes. If you aren't clean and well mannered to them, it sucks. But if you can try, then it's going to mean you are less scary for them, as they don't understand why you are homeless, and they are often too far up there as to give a shit. Just another bum is their likely thought, not another human being in need. Have they eaten? Wonder what their story is. I won't rant more about people. There's a lot of really kind people out there. Not everyone is a threat, but there are mean people and few of them is your friend. Sadly. Point that's my street smarts from the street. I'm housed now and live a successful career. Don't stare them down. Just make eye contact and move on. Never look down and always look over your shoulder. If you see a group of people cross before you need to, walk like you are on a mission and never look afraid. Sunglasses are nice because they can't see what you are looking at. I grew up in a bad area, still live in one of the lesser bad areas, projects, and you need to look like you are 100% paying attention. No phones. Keep a fake wallet in your pocket. Never carry your ID or anything else with your info unless you need it, and carry money in cards, not in your fake wallet. Put like $3 in that wallet. If you smoke, carry a empty pack. That and asking the time are two precursors to an attack. Also, if you see someone look around while talking to you, like a who can see me look around, get ready to fight or run. It's about to happen in a second. I know some of this because as a kid I was that asshole. I have not been an asshole since I was 18, but I try and share what not to do. Also my sap, never leave your garage door remote in your car, and never ever leave it on your visor. If I decide to rob you, I have the remote to get in your home, your address, throw the reg or papers inside the car, and I know where you are. A flat tire or two, and I take what you have in your home, and plenty of time, because you're at the mall with flat tires. Like I said, I'm not like that now. Everyone should keep their car free of papers, mail, job badges, etc. Be safe, and be smart. Carry a knife with a big bare metal clip, and have it visible on your pocket line. If people are trying to pick a mark out of a crowd, less chance it'll be you. Be aware at freeway off/on ramps of idling cars with people inside, or beggars with nearby groups of street closed people. One of them can distract you on your driver's side window, while the others come up on your passenger side. They'll jack you, and be gone down the highway by the time you're able to contact someone. It used to be more useful before driving apps, but beware of cars driving more slowly than they should on any given street. Chances are they're looking for someone, or are checking out the crowd. Best case, it's a cop and you might either be getting scoped out, or there's about to be a bust, and you still don't want to be there. Worst case, drive-by shooting incoming. If you're in a place where alcohol is served, and some people just got kicked out for fighting, you should consider leaving as well. A lot of innocent people die getting caught in the crossfire of belligerent drunks. Situational awareness is great, but don't take into account the way someone speaks, or how they are dressed into that. You're not surrounded by sharks. Dangerous areas still have a lot of decent people, and a short conversation with a decent person when you're in a bad spot can get you out of a lot of trouble. 9 times out of 10, when someone has negative intentions towards you, and you do not know them, their first step is going to be trying to intimidate you. They probably don't actually want to hurt you, they just want money. They are targeting you because they think you will be frightened and will just do whatever they want. They are expecting you to be intimidated, so just don't be. If you aren't scared, you will usually throw them off their game, and that alone can often be enough to defuse the situation. They are looking for an easy target. I moved into Bed-Stuy before it really gentrified. When people came up to me, I would usually give them an annoyed sigh and say I was busy. Since I was annoyed by them and not obviously frightened, they usually didn't know how to respond, and I could just walk away. They thought that I was a white kid alone and would be automatically intimidated by a black man walking up to me. When I wasn't, they didn't know what to do. This even happened on my last day there, as I was loading the car in broad daylight. A very muscular man came up and asked me for money, and when I said no, he tried to corner me in the alcove of my building. I just honestly told him I didn't have time to deal with him, was trying to get the car loaded up before the landlord came to inspect. He was visibly surprised by my response. He thought I'd be intimidated. I just stepped around him, and at that point the building super noticed what was going on and yelled at him, so he left. Stay calm. You will know if they are actually willing to hurt you, and most of the time they don't want to deal with the bother and potential consequences of getting physical. They are just trying to scare you into giving them some cash. If they can't scare you, they'll leave you alone. Blend in. Do not look out of place or lost. Do not appear intimidated or afraid. Do not wear flashy jewelry or expensive clothes. Mind your own business. Do not stare at shady individuals. Do not confront anyone committing a crime or being a nuisance. Do not film or point a phone towards them so it looks like you might be filming. Shady individuals. Be aware of your surroundings. Learn how to assess areas or people/groups for threats with a quick glance. Point question the motives, in your head, of anyone approaching you. Even if appearing friendly. Point keep mental notes of where shady individuals are around you. Point moderate your response even if terrified. Do not show it. Act cool and nonchalant, while also non-threatening. Point do not take the bait to start getting hostile back. It's usually a trap or exactly what they want. That is, they actually have 5 friends right around the corner. In addition, know when to break eye contact. A sudden shift away when the person makes eye contact signals weakness. Maintained eye contact for too long signals aggression. Point criminals will often get a feel for you before they commit to do anything. Ultimately, most of them want an easy robbery/pickpocket/whatever with no resistance. Point pickpockets will very often utilize various techniques to distract you. Couple of examples from experience. Prostitute coming up to me and being very touchy and forward while doing verbal sexual advances. Meanwhile her girlfriend was positioning herself to steal my phone. Point coming up to you and asking for directions, the time, change, bus ticket, whatever it might be, while another person will note where your valuables are and try to steal it while you are distracted. I never did this myself, but an old boss of mine always carried 2 wallets. His real one, that he kept relatively well hidden, and a fake one to hand over when he got mugged. The fake one had like $100 in cash and a couple credit cards that didn't work anymore. I don't know if he ever got mugged. He was pretty high income and a fake didn't frequent neighborhoods where a mugging was likely. My much simpler wallet strategy is keeping it in my front pocket, so it's harder for pickpockets to steal. These days I have a phone case that holds my cash and credit cards etc, so I no longer carry a wallet. The phone goes into my front pocket. Depending on what pants I'm wearing, sometimes it's a struggle for me to pull out my phone. No pickpocket is going to be able to extract it without me noticing. Another advantage of not keeping your wallet in your back pocket: edit at intervals. Annually, take a photo of each of the important cards in your wallet or phone case, especially your driver's license and credit cards, and email them to yourself so the photos can't be lost. Wallet lost or stolen? Find the email and immediately call to cancel the card. Photograph the back too. That's where the number to call is. When you go to replace your driver's license, presumably it's easier if you can show them the image of the one you lost. I've never had to do this. Pay attention to cars when in a neighborhood. If a car doubles back or slows down near you, prepare to run. I learned this the hard way. Point: if you see illegal or sketchy activity, do not stare. Keep your eyes straight and act like you saw nothing. You might make someone paranoid if you stare, which could cause someone to act irrationally. Point: if you see someone on drugs or having a mental breakdown on the street, do not confront them. They might react irrationally. If you feel the need, call 911 a distance away from the person in question. Point: if someone random asks you about the price of something you're wearing or what size are you wearing, don't tell them. This literally happened to me last week in the Tenderloin of San Francisco. The guy started getting aggressive when I wouldn't answer. I kept walking. This is common sense, but when you park your car anywhere, put your bags or any valuables under the seat or in a hidden place. Don't give a thief an extra reason to break into your car. I do this everywhere I go, even when I'm in a nice suburban neighborhood. Point: when you ride on a public bus, sit next to the bus driver. I've rode the bus all around major rough cities: Baltimore, Chicago, Washington DC, Cleveland, and I've always say next to the bus driver, no matter what. Point: when in a sketchy part of town, walk with some purpose and intent, even if you're lost. Identify a shop or store when you look at your phone or a map. When riding on the bus/train, don't stare at people, look at your phone, out the window etc. Making eye contact can be perceived as a start to communication. Point: walk against traffic. If you walk in the road, best to see what's coming. Point: never walk in an area you're unfamiliar with or at night with headphones on your ears. Hear a lot that your eyes can't see. Point: if someone demands you give them your wallet, do it. Nothing in your wallet is worth your life. Hand it to them and walk the exact opposite direction. Same goes for your car, your bike, your anything. Even if you don't have the best insurance, giving it up now will save your life. I'd rather be collarless than dead. Point: better yet, Carry small bills, 1 back quote S or a 5, in your front pocket. That way when someone asks for $1 you can hand it to them without exposing your wallet and potentially more bills. Hand it to them and walk away. Do not continue the conversation. If someone asks for a smoke, same thing. Hand it to them and walk away. If they ask for a light, tell them you don't have one / lost it, etc. Again, the idea is to not stop moving. A moving target is harder to corner. Do not be afraid of offending panhandlers or homeless people, or even that dude just asking to bum a cigarette. If they stop you, they have an opportunity to ask for more and then potentially even more. Ignore them and keep walking as if you do not even know they exist. Note, this doesn't mean you have to be an asshole to all homeless people / panhandlers, but if you are in a situation that you do not feel comfortable, do not sacrifice that for want to be kind to strangers. Walk with a purpose. Do not stop and look around like you don't know where the hell you are. Look for street signs at intersections and continue moving. If you do check a map, try to do it in stride, like you're reading a text or an email. Stopping looking at signs and looking at your phone is a short sign that you're lost. If you can, try to watch your on maps and find the nearest coffee shop or restaurant where you can sit down for a minute to make a call or text a friend. Tips for New York City off the top of my head. When crossing a sidewalk in New York City, you have enough time to cross when the blinking do not cross stops blinking to actually cross at a New York City walking pace. There is a lag between the do not cross and a green light for cross traffic point. Always walk briskly, confidently, and appear as if you're in a hurry. You will not be harassed. Point, don't sit at the front or end of subway cars. That's usually where the homeless set up shop, and the seat is probably filthy. In summer, if you get on the subway car and it's hot, immediately get off. Point, in summer, check the weather for thunderstorms before you leave for work and bring an umbrella. Those summer squalls might as well be hurricanes. Winter, don't jump over snow piled up when crossing a street. You'll either one slip and fall when you land, or to land in a puddle of disgusting water that's like 8 inches deep. Don't live or go out in midtown. Don't commit a crime while committing a crime. For instance, don't have an open container while going through 2 at a time in the subway, or pee in public while holding an open. I'm more scared of a group of teenagers than a single person. Point, most importantly, don't mess with anyone crazier than you are willing to be. This is counter to what people are saying in many ways here, but traveling around I found that in uncomfortable social situations, do not panic and react on your first instinct. Point, people who are trying to take advantage of you rely on you acting instinctively to an uncomfortable situation, so take a second and breath. Most people just try and get out of an uncomfortable situation as quickly as possible when they are overwhelmed, and unsavory people take advantage of this and will make what they want the easiest resolution. The most innocuous example is the way cab drivers react when you land in a busy airport in a foreign country and the porter scam. You are in an unfamiliar place, maybe don't speak the language, and everyone just rushes you, so the first reaction is to take the first overpriced cab to get away. The cab driver quickly muscles in and takes your bags, even sometimes despite a protest. He walks you out, puts your bags in the back of a cab, turns to the actual cab driver and nods, then asks for a porter fee. Classic tactic and entirely avoidable if you just sat for a second, but I see almost everyone make this mistake the first time they travel. YouTube the Delhi train station scam. They literally have a whole system and a fake train station that touts will take you to, and it is obvious when you think about it, but by keeping you stressed and acting instinctively. Literally the top comment says follow your gut. Scam love those people. They can guide and direct you how they choose. Be aware of your surroundings at all times. Use your peripheral vision. Look with your eyes, not your head, and have both earbuds / headphones in. Being able to hear what's going on around you is part of having good situational awareness. And if you do have both in, and someone approaches you, do not take out an earbud to engage with them. If someone asks you for $1, just say you're broke and keep walking. Even if you do have $1 to spare, either the person asking or someone nearby likely just wants you to take your wallet out, or know where your wallet is. Do not engage with strangers. If someone just wants to ask you a question, it's complete bullshit and will lead to problems. If someone asks you for help and wants you to go to another location with them, it's a trap/setup. If someone asks you what time it is, it's likely bullshit and they are probably just trying to get you to take out your phone and focus on that so they can either take it or rob/mug you. Strangers are not your friend. If they are acting like they are, it's a trap. Most important tip: trust your gut. If you get a bad gut feeling, even if you're just walking down the street, it's for a reason. Your brain may pick up on something subconsciously, and that's why you're getting that bad gut feeling. Humans lived outside for hundreds of thousands of years and we have evolutionary traits we developed for survival at that time. Just because we have lived indoors the last couple of thousand years doesn't mean they went away. So trust that gut feeling. Pro tips: if you use wired Apple earbuds, you can double click the volume thing and it will activate Siri. If you are in a compromising situation, activate Siri this way, and when Siri activates just say 108 and it will activate emergency mode and connect you to 911 dispatch and start broadcasting your phone's GPS/location. You can also say 911, but if you are in a situation where saying 911 out loud may compromise your safety, you can say 108, and whoever is in front of you, in America, will likely have no idea what the fuck you said, or what it means. I believe 108 is the 911 equivalent in other countries. iPhones have another neat little safety feature. If you press the lock button 5 times in rapid succession, it also activates emergency mode and does what I listed before. So if your phone is in your hand or pocket, you can just start jamming on that lock button. I'm sure Android phones have some sort of an equivalent, so I'm sure you can Google them and find out. The Apple headphone/108 trick and a bus that happened to be leaving at just the right time saved my life once before, so that's why I mentioned it. Always watch the eyes and the hands. No matter what a person is saying or doing, the eyes and the hands will tell you everything you need to know. The eyes are the window to the soul and hands are the window to the intent. Someone is quiet, hands down by their sides, but you look in their eyes and you see that crazy look. They are dangerous, and you want to keep an eye on the hands for them to escalate. Someone is being loud and aggressive, hands up in a fighting manner, but you look in their eyes and you can see fear or uncertainty. They are less of a threat than the first example. Someone has their hands to their side and you can tell in their eyes that they don't want problems. Leave them alone and stop being a bully. Lol. Obviously, if the hands and the eyes are both showing a fight, then you better look around for weapons, exits, other threats and your people. Take all that data, consider your odds, and then fight or flight. Last piece of advice I would give is to never get into an ego battle with someone in any case. An ego battle voids everything I said above. You may find someone that acts tough, but the eyes show they don't want any smoke, so your inclination may be to call their bluff. Well, now they have to prove that they are tough, and you already determined they didn't want to fight, so the likelihood that they snap and start shooting or plotting something serious against you skyrockets. Trust your gut. Other people's emotions can be felt. This is why we tend to get internally anxious around anxious people or internally worked up when someone venting a lot. If you're feeling something in your gut, get distance and assess. Carry 2 wallets. One with a few different denominations of bulls and random business cards and those credit card offers cards with fake names. If get asked for your wallet, toss that down and get the hell out of there. Trunks have a release in the inside. Wet the duct tape with your tongue. If you are witnessing or being hurt by someone, look and memorize as many features as you can and repeat them back to yourself in your head. If you have been attacked, immediately ask for victims advocate at police department. Police see aftermath of violence all the time. Most of them have untreated PTSD that comes out at anger and disbelief and victim blaming. Protect yourself from their unresolved emotional issues by getting a victim's advocate immediately. If you have a dog attacking you or someone else, you have only a few options to free yourself or the other person. Gouge your fingers into the eyes. Kick it in the ribs hard as you can. Spread its front legs wider you can until its breastbone breaks. Yes, it's brutal, but a dog with a large and powerful jaw will murder once it's in kill mode. Don't walk around with both headphones in, otherwise you can't hear anyone running up behind you. Never walk toward someone who's asking you to. Hey, come over here is more like hey, get closer so I can see. If you remark, if you got fancy clothes, watches, jewels, leave them at home. If you plan on walking a significant distance in your local hood, it takes about 10 seconds to get your chain snatched and maybe another 20 if I want the watch and wallet. I've seen people get beat until they were made to take their nice new jacket off and hand it over. If anyone ever asks you where you're from, it's in your best interest to let them know you don't live around here and are just passing through. If you wore the wrong color on the wrong street, they are much more likely to let you pass knowing someone's gonna miss your ass and you're just a civilian. Now to some of my best tips. If the gun's already in your face / out, you already lost. You're not John Wick, and unless you practice for that scenario, then you might as well just let them have it and deal with it afterwards. Don't fight for your car, fight for your life. Never go to an open air ATM, always use one inside a facility, if possible, because I can rob you without a weapon for your entire life if I catch you slipping. If you have the option, stay faking strapped or get clapped is my number one rule. It's better to have it and not need it than to get caught without it, and if it's bad enough where you from, it's better to get caught with it too. If she's too hot for you, keep faking moving. And don't walk around acting tough thinking it'll make you less likely to get caught up. I'll just bring the homies if I think I can't catch you alone, which is unlikely at best because criminals aren't known for being smart. Big city, good manners and bad shoes. Bad shoes. One time someone tried to mug me. They were pushing me around and screaming for me to give them my money. I screamed back, look at my shoes, which were held together by strategically placed duct tape. The dude looked at them, apologized, and walked off. On the other hand, my knees are bad now. Poverty shoes suck. Good manners. I always walked with my head up, and if people walked past me on the sidewalk, I did a chin up head nod. Don't look at houses or people hanging around. Point rural areas. Unfortunately, avoid political stuff. Point no bumper stickers, no shirts, not a damn thing expressing your individuality or ability for free thinking. Bernie sticker means your car will get damaged. Peeing on door handles is popular. A Trump sticker will get you Nazi flyers under your windshield. If you're new to town, the police will find a reason to pull you over and chat you up. They will try and intimidate you. This first encounter will determine how you are treated by them in town for the rest of your life. I'm white and made the mistake of asking a question during this initial contact. This resulted in no responses to my home when my ex tried to break in. Do not be a fan of the enemy team in any form of sports ball. Just know this would mean being a Packers team in Vikings territory and the like. I imagine this is true all over the world. I've got a few bigger ones, and they have probably already been covered, but I will put him here anyways. #1 Trust noon until you have a reason to. There are plenty of trustworthy people, but I have met folks that look like they are straight-laced and ended up being super shady. Point on the other hand, I have met people who look like they came straight from the prison yard and I could trust them with my life. #2 If you are a man, always keep your wallet in your front pocket in a crowded area. Women, always keep your purse/bag zipped with one hand covering the zipper in a crowded area. It doesn't have to just be an area known for crime. 3 Even though I still usually give them money, don't believe people who come up to you with a sob story. I learned this one the hard way. And I have been hit with a different version of the same story several times. Hey man, my car ran out of gas, and I'm trying to get my 8 kids back to whatever city 6 hours away. Can you help me out with some gas money? Or my car broke down 2 blocks down, and I need a new blinker belt. Can you help me out with a couple bucks? If they just came to me and said, hey man, I really want a hamburger or some crack, I would probably give them more money. But I don't like being played, so I usually give them like a $5. On the same note, if you see someone in grungy clothes playing music, pay attention to their instrument. Yeah, there is nothing wrong with throwing someone a couple bucks for free entertainment. But if someone is playing a $1,500 guitar, then they probably live better than you do. You can still throw them some change, but save your $10s and $20. #4 This one should be a given, but I have seen it happen more than once, so I guess it must not be. If you are a drug user, Don't ever buy drugs from someone you don't know at a club, concert, or festival. Or, in general honestly. But these other places it happens most. There will be someone at a big music festival, and they will be approaching people, hey, I have got this molly. $10 a pop. There is a very good chance that it is garbage that has been stepped all over. Or, fake altogether. Or, even worse, it could be something toxic. If you have test kits, or you see them multiple days in a row, chances are pretty good it is safe, although I still wouldn't recommend it. Because if they haven't been ran off, or beaten down within a day or two, good chance it is legit. #5 And most importantly, trust your gut. If you are on a dimly lit street, or dark parking lot, or wherever in general, and you get a bad feeling, trust your gut. Leave a sap point. I could honestly make a list that would be much longer, but these are some basic things that will keep you a little safer and help keep you from being separated from your money. Always walk like it's your street and you've walked it 1000 times. Bluff really is a good defense, much of the time. Point. If you're the more vulnerable party, or think you are, never make eye contact, unless it's forced or unavoidable, at which point never break it first. Point. Be polite, even to the crazes, if at all possible. Point. Always try to navigate new places with a trusted local. Point. No matter how big, or trained or capable you think you are, never fight first, always run or evade if possible. If forced to fight, because you believe you have to, fight like hell, and make yourself as loud and terrifying as you can, both to deter your foe, but potentially raise an alarm. Help. Get angry, if you can force it, over scared. For women, think of the most vulnerable areas of your foe, and what minimizes your weakness, nails, and keys to eyes, face, neck and groin. Point. Carry a fake wallet in an easy pocket, especially in new places. Fill it with an expired credit card or a fake ID, that is not an old one that shows your name or address, and what looks like plenty of cash. Most street criminals just want the least painful payday they can find. By the time they look through and find $30 bills and useless plastic, you're hopefully long gone. Point. Don't carry a weapon unless you really know how to use it, which applies especially to knives or blades. They are very easily used against you, which means you probably don't know how to use it. If you live in a place where you can own a gun, don't just own a gun. Spend a few hundred on training and shoot regularly and get advanced CC training. If you believe CC is right for you, carry something small and well hidden but very accessible. Practice. You'll likely never need it, but it should be well rehearsed and in your muscle memory. If you do. Point. Carry a good jack and learn how to change a wheel. Point. Carry jumper cables. Always ride a tiger everywhere. First and foremost, situational awareness. Take a moment to look around and really observe your surroundings, knowing that the dude across the street having a smoke is gestured towards you to his friends, or that someone is walking oddly fast to keep pace. This kind of things and countless others are good telltale signs of something coming. Point. Another good point is you have to realize nobody is going to save you. If you're being followed and go into a shop, sure, you'll be safe for now, but they can wait for you outside. It's very unlikely, but someone could walk right into that shop and assault you and nobody would jump up and save you. Point. The shock of the situation and them trying to process what is going on is going to stop them. Nobody is going to jump up and risk their safety for yours until they realize you might die. But until they think, holy shit, this person is going to die if I don't do something, they are likely to freeze and try and protect themselves. Carry 2 wallets. Point. 1 for unimportant cards like coupons, business cards and membership cards, and a $5 bill and maybe some change. Keep this wallet in your back pocket. Point. The other wallet will hold all your important stuff like bank cards and ID. Keep this wallet somewhere else, like the inside breast pocket of your coat. If you ever get robbed, give them the fake wallet with change and some money, because they're not going to ask you for your second wallet. Point. To be even safer, put money from your real wallet into the fake one to spend so nobody will see you pulling out your real wallet to pay for stuff. Point. Carry a plastic cup. I grew up in a really bad part of town and this one saved me quite a few times. The point of carrying a plastic cup is so you can pretend you're homeless. It won't work if you're dressed too good, and I would suggest carrying a second wallet in that case. Point. How I have used it has been very similar each time I found myself being followed by an individual or group of people. There's times when I could quickly lose them using public transit or knowing the area better, and I would suggest that before this. If you are trying to lose the person following you, but can't seem to shake them, sit down on the sidewalk or somewhere you think someone who is homeless would sit down to rest, and pull out the plastic cup point. When they get close, ask them if they have any spare change, so you can get something to eat. If they say sorry they don't have any, ask them if they have a smoke. If they don't smoke, ask them if they could spare any food, because you haven't eaten in a while. Every time I've used this, it's worked on both groups and individuals in situations where I knew I was being followed, and confirmed it by taking 3 rights and doing a loop to circle back to our original spot. Don't flash expensive accessories, phone, jewelry, and listen to your spider sense, or, failing that, listen to the nearest woman or urban teacher in your group. They know how to read a situation. Example, I worked at schools in serious gang areas in college during the Compton uprising. Years later, I was in Seattle my ex and in-laws one Thanksgiving weekend, and rumors of a protest potentially ugly cop retaliation was brewing. We were in a Starbucks downtown at about 7 p.m. and I saw slow purposeful foot traffic headed towards one direction. But otherwise the place was suspiciously deserted. I mentioned something to my ex about getting out of there, but he brushed me off. Then I started chatting a lovely local woman while we waited, and as she got her order, she gestured me aside. You and your folks are really sweet, so I wanted to tell you. There is a big protest brewing about 3 blocks away, and I think the cops are going to shut the area down. You may want to get your parents out and safe now. I thanked her, went and repeated her message, and my unease, to my husband, and insisted that we leave to our hotel. He belittled and joked about my being paranoid. And in the morning, that area was still blocked off after the crap that went down. It would have been hell to get my oblivious/scared North Carolinian ex-parents out of there if we'd waited another 5 minutes. Women and teachers know. Listen. I'm in Sweden, so probably not at all near as bad as some areas in other countries, but I've seen some shit, and I've been in some trouble. And I can just reiterate some of the stuff I've read above. If possible, do not fight. Ever. Just no. Don't let the other guy win. Yeah, you'll feel small for a while, sure, but F that. You'll get over it. Do not fight. The other guy is an asshole, and everyone knows it. If you absolutely must fight, throw the faking hardest punch ever, the hardest thing you've done in your whole life, and do it first. Before the other guy. Preferable land it on the side of his face, on the chin. Then get the F out of there. Note, this is hard to do. Very hard. Don't feel ashamed if you can't or don't dare to. The thing about who hit first, and why is for the aftermath. Hopefully you'll not be around for that. And, yeah, like others have said, when walking around, or being in bad neighborhoods, look like you belong, like you've been there many times before, nothing surprises you, like you're preoccupied with other thoughts. Keep your head down but not trying to hide it, walk with determination, and don't look around you all the time. Move your eyes, not your head. Also, acknowledge other people, 1 second glance, don't stare. And, if you get cornered/challenged, don't be afraid to run. You're fast, and you have a head start. I've managed to talk myself out of some situations, but I've also received my share of sucker punches. Afterwards I've always wondered why I didn't just get the F out of there. There's no winning an argument against an aggressive idiot. Just get away. Gone. When you're put in the group holding cell, go right over to the toilet and take a sheet. Don't seek eye contact, but freely return the gazes of others with a happy smile. I promise, you're not going to be someone's first choice for establishing dominance. Behind you. No, really, behind you. Most people's version of street smarts would neither help them nor be necessary if they actually had street smarts. Don't be the last one to find out. Constant vigilance isn't actually exhausting if you just faking. Do it as a habit. The only people who are worried about what others might think of them backing down from a potentially injurious conflict are gangsters and schoolchildren. Unless you're a gangster, feel free to back down and go home in one piece. If your blood runs cold, it's for real. Move, now. For fact's sake, learn at least a tiny bit of the local language. Point. If others are watching you with curiosity, you have seconds to change your course of action. Point. There are places to tell the truth: court, depositions, tax returns, deathbed confessions. Otherwise, remember, it's a lot easier to forgive yourself for lying than regenerate lost blood, heal broken bones, etc. Feel free to lie. It might really help. Special exception: bad liars. And you know who you are. The house always wins. Always be a sport for $5. Never be a sport for more. This number is circumstantial. Alone plus unsure equals trouble. If you're unsure of what you're doing or where you are, don't be alone. If you are going to be alone, know what you're doing. Point. Never assume it won't happen to you because you're street smart. Street smartest says law of averages means it definitely happens to me at some point. A lot of this thread can be boiled down to avoid conflict. Most people have this skill and employ it. The real question to ask yourself might be, why am I anticipating potential conflict? Learning to ask and answer this will help you avoid a lot of problems. Never allow a stranger to steal your attention. Be engaging but don't be focused on them. Be impatient and short with your responses. Point. Always carry something to defend yourself with: small knife, wallet chain, a lighter/roll of pennies, something to grip and support your fist. Have a spare key set to makeshift your own knuckle dusters. I've been prepared for this, but never had to use that last one, fortunately. I've seen responses here that seem to think street smarts is nothing more than basic safety, like locking car doors, which should just be common sense. Point. If you find yourself without anywhere to stay indoors, local shops and shopping areas often have heat vents that run through the night, preferably somewhere that cooks fresh food. Great source of warmth and very few people are aware of it. You can also ask end shift workers in any food service shop for leftovers and scraps. Final tip: never sleep on the ground. Find somewhere elevated. If your body is in contact with the earth, you will probably freeze to death. Even slight elevation off the ground is insulation enough to survive on body heat. Obviously, local temperature and weather conditions change these circumstances. This world is too soft. Everybody has gotten weak and comfortable with stuff instead of what is imperative to survival. Don't forget, we are animals trying to beat other animals and stay on top of the food chain. You can die in decades time or 10 minutes. Either way, the rest of us will learn from your death as a cautionary tale of health and knowledge. Most of what we know now is because someone died for that knowledge. Street smarts don't include cars and your faking purses. The best single piece of advice I saw here was one about traveling at night. Always walk as far from alley/dark entrances as you reasonably can. This is one of the best ways to have the advantage in terms of knowing when someone is coming at you. I learned this before I was 10. It's a shame Reddit shares this like it's not common knowledge, and it's even worse when people treat it like amazing wisdom. Never assume someone isn't following you just because it doesn't happen to everyone. Lead them around to confirm they're following you, and then go to the safest location with them in tow. Customer service desk, police, populated area. Oh, and never walk right next to vans or open doors. I was walking home alone at night from a bar in a city, not a particularly bad area. A dark car with tinted windows drove by and slowed down as it neared me. They almost came to a full stop on this empty street. They immediately hit the gas after a few seconds. I had a feeling they were going fast to come back around before I went anywhere. I immediately started to run, but I didn't have enough time before I heard a car, so I hid behind a large car with my feet behind the tires. I heard them slow down to a creep with chattering and shushing. They drove off once they realized they lost me. I ran so fast to my bus stop along a populated street and never stopped looking over my shoulder. I also got stopped and pinned in an empty dollar store aisle in a small town by a guy. He asked me, "Where do you think you're going?" And I immediately, with everything in me, told him to move. He laughed. Then I did it again with more force and shoved him out of the way. People are being serious when they say walk with your head up. These people don't want to fight. If you are on mass transit, sit near the biggest, baddest looking dude. Or, and I hate to say this, but a well-dressed black businessman. Smile and say hi. Things go bad, you already have a friend who will help you. Point when walking on a city street, walk with purpose. Don't gawk at the big buildings, and don't make eye contact with anyone. Dark sunglasses help, but don't turn your head. Just be aware with your eyes. Just keep walking. If anyone tries to engage with you, the panhandlers are used to it, and the thieves will find an easier target point. Keep your wallet in your front pocket. If in areas known for pickpockets, New York City, Rome, Paris, Istanbul, have a dummy wallet in your back pocket with expired credit cards or store loyalty cards and just a little cash, but nothing important. Someone pulls a knife or a gun, give them whatever they want, and run if you can, but do not get in a vehicle, or go in a building with them. If you get in the car, you are dead. So, outside, give up or run. Vehicle or building entrance, fight with everything you have, and fight dirty. Bite, scratch, kick, put your finger down your throat, to throw up and disgust them. Dig your fingers in their eyes, but don't go anywhere they have control, even if you get hurt, or are risking death. Most people who are shot or stabbed survive. Most thieves don't go to the range, and learn to shoot. Your odds get better the more distance you get. If you are near water, dive deep. Bullets lose all their speed in just a foot or two of water. Don't imagine that carrying your own weapon protects you. More people are stabbed or shot with their own weapon than save themselves. If you do have a weapon though, don't threaten, just use it. The more time the opponent has, the better their chance of taking your weapon. Not street, but forest. Bears move way faster than you think. See a bear, make yourself loud and big, and move quickly but calmly in the other direction. Don't take time to get a picture. Mountain lions, do not turn your back, and do not run. Walk away keeping eye contact the entire time. If you get attacked, protect your neck with anything you can. Pack, stick, hands. Like advice above, fight dirty. For those in India, same advice for tigers. I don't know enough about African lions to give advice, but I assume it is similar to American mountain lions. The most important thing I've learned is to always be aware of your surroundings. Even in safe areas, just be aware of things going on around you. When I was in college, I didn't have a car and had to walk all over campus. It wasn't a bad area, but sometimes you'd see some sketchy people at night. Especially near some of the restaurants and bars. Try to avoid conflict. I was leaving a pizza shop with a friend and some asshole was going insanely fast through the plaza. My friend flipped him off and yelled at the dude. He backed up and rolled down his window screaming at us. I just kept walking towards our car and told my friend to let it go. That dude in the vehicle seemed extremely angry, and I felt it was best to just leave before things escalated. Luckily my friend listened, and we left. If you notice a vehicle following you on your way home, don't lead them to your house. Drive around a little longer and see if the person is indeed following you. Do something weird like drive down a couple of streets that you don't live on. If they keep following you, try to go to a public place. If it's late at night, drive to the nearest hospital or police station. Most entrances have some sort of security, and obviously police stations will have officers. People won't follow you there unless they are completely stupid or insane. If you're doing a meet through something like Craigslist or the Facebook marketplace, be smart and try to meet in public places. If you do end up going to their place, don't go alone. Mayo, it shows that I'm from the third world when I realize that all the things they say I take into account daily. Many things have already been said, so here are just a few tips I have to share, applicable anywhere in the world. You should not trust, even if you are in the safest country of the world, in risky situations, or simply in unusual situations, such as interacting with a stranger. If you don't have enough information, then suspect. If you have enough information, it's probably too late, in a bad way. This doesn't always happen. Sometimes everything it's okay, but remembering it will prevent you from ignoring the warnings your brain sends to you. Try to walk with attitude, but without being too aggressive. This is mainly useful when walking through dangerous areas, or walking near a group of suspicious people. Also, if for example, a group of suspicious people are going to pass by your side, do not look at them, but try not to ignore them. Looking at them, or ignoring them, can draw their attention. Even being attentive to their presence, you must pretend to ignore them. To do it, you must look ahead, where there is no one, but you must not stare at a fixed point. You can use cars, traffic lights, other people walking, and other stuff as a reference. The point is that your eyes will not seem to be looking at a fixed point, but you will not be moving them like a crazy person. That will make them think that you are nervous and afraid of them, or just get their attention. Your eyes will just move slightly, but enough to seem like a natural nonchalant movement. You must look tough, but not overly aggressive. You just have to look like someone who could cause problems if someone tried to annoy you, but it doesn't mean you need to look like someone who can fight against 1,000 people at once. Criminals usually prefer victims who are vulnerable, so you don't have to look vulnerable, but also, you don't have to look provocative. You do have to look a little, or enough rough. I usually use this when I go at night through dangerous areas. Obviously it does not guarantee your safety, but it increases your chances of survival a little. Since you never know when you will have to use this technique, you will usually have to improvise with the clothing you have. If I have a jacket, I put on the hood. I stretch it slightly from the sides to broaden my vision and hearing. Since wearing a hood can also be a disadvantage, I roll up my sleeves, close my jacket, and try not be showing the valuable things I carry above. Point note, if you are a person whose facial features can be intimidating, or if you are a little expressive person, you should try to cover your face with something but without looking weak. Something that leaves a mystery about if you are a person to mess with or not. Humans by default, we judge the appearance. Usually when aggressors don't have enough information, they will prefer to avoid you. From their point of view, there is a possibility that you are crazier than them. Usually people with little expression or intimidating traits make potential aggressors feel threatened, even if you have not done anything. So it is likely that they will try to attack you. Just for that point, I clarify that this is not a definitive guide and I'm not responsible for what happens to you and what you do with your life. I speak from my experience and knowledge. Take this comment with a grain of salt. When I was younger, I went to a job interview at a Hungry Jack's that I thought wasn't too far away from my house. I was 14 and didn't own a phone. I did know where I was, just didn't know where to go from there to get home. I got on the wrong bus and I ended up even further away from the house and now completely lost. I had been walking around for what felt like an hour or two and was trying to figure out what to do next. I knew the only thing I could really do was ask someone if I could use their phone. Obviously I had never gotten lost before because I never went out alone, but I knew I couldn't ask just anyone I see. I'm much more comfortable talking with women. I know that not all females have good intentions, but I can tell when someone's not trustworthy most of the time, and I didn't trust any guys because of previous events in my life. Either a nice woman or anyone elderly. After walking around for a while, I ended up at a dog park and I saw a woman with 2 kids and her dog just about to leave. I quickly walked up to her asking to use her phone. We went to her car which was nearby. She left her phone in the car and she gave it to me and I contacted my sister. I didn't tell her I had gotten lost, so she thought I was at Hungry Jack's and told me to wait there. Knowing this woman had 2 very young kids and she seemed very sweet, I asked if she could quickly drive me back. She agreed, even offering to drive me home. I didn't want to go that far, however. She dropped me off at Hungry Jack's and drove off just before my sister came and picked me up, and we went home. Her name was Susan. I know not all men have ill intentions, but being a young female, I did not want to go with men I didn't know or trust. Point looking for / getting help from somebody with kids or the elderly is always a good idea. Keep your head and keep aware of your surroundings. I've known more people that have been mugged or attacked and couldn't describe their attackers. Either cause they were alone, drunk, and waiting for a cab, or they were nervous and kept their head down, or were lost in any one of the mindless things we do with our phones. 8. If you are alone, in any city, day or night, keep track of your surroundings. Take note of people around you, especially if they are paying you the kind of attention that makes you uncomfortable. If you are on foot and you feel like maybe you shouldn't be where you are, then turn around and go back the way you came. Point also, if you don't have city sense, don't do cities on your own. I grew up in the suburbs of a large city, and as soon as I was old enough, I started crawling around it and exploring it. I got lots of advice on where to go and where not to go. Took tips on orienting, know the city and how the streets and neighborhoods are laid out, so on the chance I got lost, I could use different tactics to get unlost. I moved to that city and happily lived there for a number of years, exploring it and living in at least a half a dozen different parts of it. Some areas were nice enough and some were kinda dicey. Dicey like one block over in a certain direction. Will shithole get your shot dicey? I'm back in the burbs, but I carry that experience with me in every city I visit, both domestic, US, and abroad. Never have your key inside your purse. When you are about to reach your car, use the key ring as an actual ring and put it on your finger. BTO, make sure it's there. Have it handy and get to your car as soon as possible. Lock the doors and leave. Don't linger. Never use the remote open car feature when you are still far from your car because someone may hop in. You don't need to warn what your cat is. Best to use the remote when as close to your car as possible. If someone has marked you as a possible target, they won't have the benefit of predictability. They'll find out which is your car when it's hopefully too late. Don't allow the rear view mirror to point at your face. Cars behind you will gain info from this: gender, age, and if you are talking, they may be able to read your lips. Also, don't go into any faking place where you can't see anything from the outside. You need to be informed and be able to ask for help and get noticed. Don't go into new places and immediately step in. Make sure the attendant is there. You don't want to walk into an empty establishment and do not know who is in charge of the door, especially if it's one of those magnet locks. When you are shopping with a baby in your cart, make the habit of hold the baby's hand or leg while you are distracted reading prices, ABD labels. If someone trusts to take your kid, you'll notice immediately, plus your contact with the baby will discourage them. Gadgets with the rope thingy to walk with a kid is no good. If you are distracted, it can be cut off. If your partner is abusive and you need to skate/slash his tires to make sure you create a delay if he wants to chase after you. I'm not that backward smart, but my only things to add for consideration: whatever you're most afraid of has a lot of power over you. Find any way to get an uneasy peace about it/some power back, and you'll conquer all things differently. If that's being uneasy walking home alone/learning defense techniques or personal protection tactics, etc. This is where you see Westerners talking about concealed carry, ECT, but that leads to never be too confident. The universe balances to neutral. The more you push, the more it pushes back. When a situation pops up, you're unsettled. Finding more time to get out of that situation is always better than being hasty. In general, people are driven by scarcity or vanity most often. Nothing is personally about you. Some people genuinely want to hurt others, but the vast majority just want to solve their own problem with as little effort as possible. Don't be stupid for vanity reasons, holding on to your prize bag, watch, ECT, when you could be alive. Assume intent. If your instincts tell you something is off, pay attention. You might overreach, react, or get yourself worked up. As long as you don't say anything or make a scene to dig yourself a hole, it had better to be wrong and safe than right and in harm's way. Continuing breathing and thinking. The more scared you get, the less you naturally think and start acting in self-preservation. Some folks freeze, like a deer in headlights. That doesn't work out well for the deer often. I find myself sizing rooms, counting rows on planes to emergency exists, packing emergency medicine or gear, and just generally preparing for things that rarely happen. Doing this over enough time, you generally know when you're in a situation you shouldn't be. Guys are bad at this. Many women live this way as a survival instinct. I'm so sorry others take away your agency and freedom to live carefree, but the evolved instinct is valuable. Learning point last one, I promise. Many street instincts will help you early in your career and civilized life, but at some point those strengths become weaknesses. To continue moving up, never forget them, or to hone them as things become easier. We're all powerless in a disaster situation. Basic sense goes a long way to getting you back to your loved ones. Spend the time to know them, so you can train them into your kiddos or dependents, employees, or relationships. As a species, we are only here because we got good at this single act, instinctualizing and passing stuff on. Do your part, and it will keep you sharp. Jesus was way better at running a liquor business than he was at preaching. Better to open a liquor store than a church. Jesus solved the problem when he turned water into wine at that wedding. The man had a gift. The Bible make it seem like he wasn't cheat before that time he turned the water into wine at the wedding, but the Motherfucker was something else during his time in Egypt. Jesus Christ is probably his faking stage name like how rappers are today. That sheet is way too elegant and European for an Aramaic Jew that was raised in Egypt to be named Point. That sheet don't add up at all, but nobody in any timeline, country, or time period ever contested the legitimacy of the liquor ministry of Jesus Christ, and the Vatican run those damn vineyards to this day. Point. When they say he turned the water into wine, I believe that sheet, because I've seen dudes in jail use that same method with lesser ingredients, and I watch those motherfuckers have a blast. Most of the New Testament may be bullshit, but nobody ever went on record and said he did not turn the water into wine at that wedding. Point. That seems to be the only thing in the story of Jesus I've never heard a living human go on record and say it didn't happen. Point. The establishment of Jesus Christ's liquor business as an anchor of time on this planet. His liquor was that damn good they faking made the planet tell time differently starting from the day he was born. Point. That liquor was so damn good the sheer mention of it was raising motherfuckers from the dead. We do not need Jesus to reincarnate and bring that damn liquor back with them powers in sheet. Point. I can barely afford the liquor that's out now. Sheet. Stay alert when you're out and about. A lot of people are in their phones or listening to music, podcasts, etc. Keep one bud out and one ear open. Don't look at your phone while you walk, and periodically look around. People who are aware of their surroundings are less likely to be targets for thieves, and you will also be quicker to react to an accident or a dangerous situation if you are aware of what's going on around you. If you go to a venue, make note of the emergency exits as you walk in, and remember them as best as you can. Some places try their best, but in the event of an actual emergency there will be no crowd control, and you'll have to find your own way out. Point. When going out, pay the extra money for the nice parking lot. Ick now, the lit one with the security guards, cameras, and all the lights. That gravel paid parking lot behind the liquor store may be fine when the sun's still up and you're with your friends, but it's not a place you want to be walking at 2 AM when you're sheet-faced and by yourself. When leaving a festival or convention, be wary of panhandlers and grifters. These are people selling sob stories, begging for money, or trying to press free things into your hands or slip them on your wrist and then insist on a donation or payment of some kind. They're hoping you won't cause a scene and will give them whatever money they ask for. If you try to hand it back, they won't take it. Drop whatever it is on the ground, step back, and if you see a cop, report them. I feel like this one is already pretty well known. I don't really know what title to give it, so I just explain it and hope you understand. So for a little context, I grew up in New York City. Now don't get me wrong, New York City is beautiful, very touristy, but like most big cities there are the sketchy ghetto parts. Now where I more specifically grew up was just a couple blocks down from Times Square. So not super sketchy, but I do definitely remember seeing some pretty millimeters questionable things. I think the reason the area was so sketchy was mainly because they sold weed directly off the side of the street. I always found that kinda scary, because the amount of incredibly zooted people walking around made it definitely eerie. Now I'm a girl, and as most people know, being a girl comes with its risks. And being in big cities that can have a lot of crimes committed, it made it pretty scary walking the streets. Once my friend accidentally looked at someone wrong and didn't end well. Didn't help that the person they looked at was absolutely drunk out of their mind. So that being said, my street smarts tip would be when walking the streets of anywhere, always look directly ahead. No matter what, always look like you know where you're headed, and always look like you've somewhere to be urgently. Even if you don't have somewhere to be, still look like you know. Back when I lived in New York City, I'd always look directly ahead. If there's people in front of you, still look ahead, just focus on something that is still ahead, but behind the people. Try to not make eye contact whatsoever. Literally no matter what, don't make eye contact. Also a tip that helped me was to always look angry. Not like super angry, but always look a little pissed. Have a boyfriend always helps. People won't wanna mess with you most of the time if you look pissed. Also don't look clueless. 9 times out of 10 people will look for others that look like they don't know where they are or what they are doing. Just always look like you know what's happening and be aware of your surroundings 24/7. Better to be safe than sorry. Also look calm but also not. Don't be biting your nails or being anxious. It'll just make you more vulnerable looking to predators. And we don't want that. Long story short, I'd say to just always look prepared and ready. Always have flight or fight in check. The world is a scary place. Always have to be prepared. Eater. Some weapons and self-defense items require licenses or trainings to own and carry. Please follow the law and stay safe from all sources of violence. Just carry a weapon at all times of some sort. I don't care if you think you're in a safe area or you look tough or no one's ever bothered you before. You have nothing to lose by carrying an item for self-defense, and you have your life to lose by not carrying anything. It doesn't have to be extreme like a gun, stun gun, or even a pocket/small hunting knife. Pepper spray is one of the most effective self-defense items you can have. They make pink cat-shaped brass knuckles you can put on your keychain. In a pinch, a ballpoint pen can save your life. Whatever your choice, make sure you know what you would use to defend yourself, where it is, and how you'll get to it at any given time. Every time you go out. That sounds paranoid, it's not. Look up different sources for statistics on assaults, domestic/child abuse, muggings, raps, stalking, and harassment for your particular sex and race. Check locally, for your country, and worldwide. The numbers don't lie, and they aren't pleasant. You can and should know how you can defend yourself. If something ever occurs, no one ever thinks it will happen to them. Try not to walk somewhere alone at night. Sometimes it is unavoidable, so here are some general rules of thumb if you are walking alone at night. Don't keep your headphones into where you aren't aware of your surroundings. People pick up on this. Act like you know where you are going. Don't have your phone out looking at your map to show people that you are lost. It is better to pull off in somewhere and map your route out ahead of time if you are in an unfamiliar area. Never stop to ask for directions. If you absolutely need to ask for directions because it's not safe to pull out your phone, or if it is dead, make sure to do it in an establishment that feels safe. After you ask, get out of there quickly to make sure that no one has a chance to set you up, or also maybe ask multiple people to make sure someone isn't throwing you off if you are completely lost without a way to find your way and no establishments around. Follow your gut to the safest location. It doesn't matter if you know it isn't the direction you need to be going. Safety is a priority. Don't walk drunk, and if you are, make sure to not let people know. Never walk on a street without lights. Over a street with lights. Try to always walk on a street that is lit and populated. If it takes an extra 15 minutes to get where you need to go, but you are always in a crowded area, do it. If other people are around, let them know that you notice them, but don't look too hard and try and cause problems. If someone has a hood on, avoid them. If you are on an empty street and there is only one person/small group in front of you, whether they are stopped or walking towards you, cross the street. Never show that you have any valuables, like an iPhone or a watch/cash. Keep your hands in your pockets, as if you are ready to pull a weapon out. Don't pull a weapon on someone that tries something on you. You might stop them, but you are more likely than not exacerbating the situation and more likely to get yourself hurt. If you have a hood, wear it. Nothing better than making yourself look like the sketchy one. If you get robbed, give them everything and go. Never try and fight. If they are trying to take you somewhere, drop all your valuables in front of them and run. Probably not going to chase you if they have the option of taking your sheet or trying to catch you. But remain calm, talk slowly, and don't make any sudden movements till they are picking your stuff up. Never know when someone will be trigger or stab happy. Avoid being in the center of big parks late at night. If you are by yourself, walking along the perimeter of a park is good because it is by a street and there are usually lights. Always check your six and avoid alleys. I use these techniques for 5 years in New Orleans and for about 2 years in Savannah. I walk alone all the time and have never been robbed and really haven't had too many close calls because of these rules. That being said, I have had several friends get pistol whipped in the back of the head Friends that have been conned into getting into a car to smoke weed and then robbed at gunpoint and dropped off 50 miles out of the city. And friends that have gone missing and never showed up after walking home alone from a bar. Be careful out there. The world is a dangerous place. But like most people have said already, most importantly, trust your gut and you'll probably be fine. I got a few lol need customers for BM sales. Getting a temporary job on every side of town in the restaurant industry. You'll meet enough people to sell drugs to and make enough to quit a job. Same with university when pulled over with weed. What is a plant and states are responsible for agriculture where the feds are responsible for commerce. If you ever get pulled over with a personal amount of weed, be honest you have some and always get it across that some. One gave it to you and that you keep it in a car to keep it away from kids in the house. If there's no transaction then it's up to the state to charge or not. Most of the time they won't. Undercovers wear old but clean clothes with running shoes, but that's never actually been handy. Weed carts are filled with distillate which is flavorless. The more flavor a cart has the less THC is in it. Distillate is decarbed, so you can open up a defective carts and put it on snacks to make edibles. Buying herb on street or buying herb regular, make sure you ask for standard amounts like eighth and quad. If you ask for 4 or 7 grams they know you're expecting to pay 10 a gram. Avoid when pulled over what police find in a car during a search legally belongs to the owner or host driving, from what I understand, so be considerate of what the people you drive around with carry in your car, cause all they gotta do is drop it and not claim it for you to get charged with it. Traveling with a legal sheet or doing drops. Avoid little cities and towns anytime you're driving with a legal sheet. Government funding doesn't trickle down to them as much as the bigger cities, so they gotta make up for that by throwing the book at as many people as they can, and they prefer not to mess with locals. Don't get towed if you park your car with a longer fixed structure as close as you can to the left or it, then leave your tires turned left. Tow truck will avoid towing you to avoid the possibility of a car turning into the building and causing damage which they have to cover. Hella broke, grab something small but expensive from Walmart, walk it over to the returns and get store credit for it. Might get you by on groceries in a pinch. Buying a used car, have a few friends call before you and lowball the fuck out at the seller, then call them, give them a kinda better offer. Usually they faking take it lol, the quicker the better. Overlap calls even. Dry weed. Put some orange peel in the baggie for large amounts. Use a flour tortilla lol. Double dipping receipts. Buy a few cases of beer, pass the receipt off to your homie, have them walk back in and walk out with the same beer and show the receipt instead of paying.